All
Just
right.
do an intro.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to something a little funny. So we got Caden in London here,
Aye.
Oh god.
and they're not overly familiar with Yu-Gi-Oh, so we thought it'd be funny if we showed them some cards and got them to guess whether or not the cards are good. And yeah,
Take it with a grain of salt. Whether like we think they're bad, we think they're good. Don't hate us.
it's a little
communities.
arbitrary.
It's a little arbitrary.
It's our opinion.
By
There's
general, yeah,
one
it is our
card in here
opinion.
specifically.
Yeah.
Sorry,
I
Dyer.
agree with all.
So, yeah, sorry if you watch this. Sorry, Dyer.
I highly doubt they'll watch this, but we'll see.
Anyway, let's just get into it. Okay, first card.
You want this one?
So this is Pot of Desires. You can banish 10 cards from the top of your deck face down, draw 2 cards, and you can only activate one per turn.
Mm.
Feel free to ask questions if you need clarification.
Yeah.
No,
This is.
I think
I
it's
know how
pretty
this card.
clear.
I know how this card works. The question.
Is it worth
See, the
draw?
issue is I'm looking at this from a Magic player, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
You're going yeah, that's how you want.
Because,
That's one way
like,
to look at this. Like
In
a magic.
a
player.
lot of you can have a lot of interaction with your exiled cards. It's simply,
Okay,
like,
so I should
like,
specify there's 2 different types of banished.
Yeah, face down. And
Oh,
face
yeah.
Up, I know that much.
These
I
are
get-
banished. Yeah.
So like a face up banished card would be more similar to a card that is exiled in Magic.
Yeah.
Whereas
I
a face
know-
down banished is basically you can't interact with it.
It is uninteractable. You
For as normally card draw is great in Magic, but with Yu-Gi-Oh, I don't think it's that big. Especially if you get rid of all your combo pieces, I'm gonna say it's
Mhm.
not that good.
Okay, and then
what do you
London?
think,
Yeah.
London?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree because banishing face down without any interaction would be
Because
worse
if-
than just
Now,
waiting.
yeah, I gave my answer. It's not that good. Now, if you built your deck based around using this card, it'd be different.
Yeah.
So Pot of Desires is fucking crazy.
It's crazy.
Okay.
It is
The,
two cards. It's
the
a pot
fact
of greed.
the matter is that within the top 10 cards of your deck, there will almost never be all 3 copies of a core combo piece that you need.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Of course,
Just
my
based
luck,
on
I'll
like
use
card
this
shuffle.
card.
Yeah.
Yeah,
my
it's
luck,
luck,
I
right?
will use this card,
It is-
and it will get rid of all my combo pieces. in
I've
no
had it
time.
happen before, but
Agree. Yeah. Same. But this is generally good.
it's
Yeah,
not
like-
amazing right now, but
Like I
it's
said,
one of those cards that comes back up occasionally.
Magic player, like card draw is good, but I don't know how well it is. Because I'm shit at luck. Okay, my luck is shit. So this card would fuck me over 9 times out of 10.
That's fair.
This is mainly the pot
Yeah.
cards people use if your deck relies too much on the extra deck. Because there's
Yeah,
pot
because
cards
there's
that banish
other
from
ones
the
that
extra
banish
deck.
from the extra deck, which gives you more control usually, but
Right. Like I've used this card before. It's good when I get it to work, but
Mhm.
like I said, it works some of the time for me.
okay.
think I've used
I
this
don't
card.
I don't even remember
I've used
what
this
the
card
next
I think
card is.
once. So
Oh, this is the next
Oh,
card.
I got dibs on this one. Okay, this is Snake Rain. Discard 1 card. Send 4 reptile monsters from your deck to the graveyard.
I mean,
Question.
you could be
Yes?
5
No.
reptiles. if you discard
Dinosaurs and reptiles are 2 different monster
Yeah.
types.
They are 2 different monster types. yes.
Reptile means specifically a monster that has reptile as its monster type.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
I'm gonna say bad. I don't know much about reptile cards, but if they have no way of getting them out of the graveyard, I don't think it's that great.
Yeah, I think that's also my point because realistically with the discard you can make it 5 reptiles, but if you have no way to get them back then there's no real point. So,
I cannot believe you got this for the
Yes,
exact
yeah, we-
reason.
Yeah.
This is one of those cards that every time new reptile monsters are announced, it shoots all the way up in price, and then people go, oh wait, these cards are bad, and then it drops all the way back down to like 10 cents. I've
We
been
don't
meaning to
have-
buy a playset just in case.
We don't have a single good reptile archetype. Like, Ogdoadic released a few years ago, and
See-
it just did nothing.
That my
Yeah.
magic player kicked in for me. I was like, wait, I need to clarify to make sure this count. Like, because sometimes cards are multiple different kinds of creatures.
Yeah.
And I know for
Yeah,
a fact, I
mhm.
think there's at least a couple dinosaur cards that use the graveyard for stuff.
God,
Oh,
if this thing said
most.
dinosaurs.
Oh yeah, this is a dinosaur.
Need the in tier 0 meta.
Yeah.
So I just needed to be clear on that one.
Good
I've never
clarification.
heard of.
Okay, I can take this one. So this is Card D. It cannot be special summoned. Oh,
You said I got
Well.
this. You just left.
Sorry, sound popped off.
yeah.
What
So
card
this is Card D. It cannot be special summoned. During your main phase 1, if this card was normal summoned this turn, you contribute this card, draw 2 cards, then it becomes the end phase. You cannot special summon during the turn you activate this effect.
Oh. Oh boy.
See, again, I know basically Yu-Gi-Oh! If your first turn can make or break the game, but I want to say it's bad, but I feel like it. It depends, because if you're using a, I'm gonna have to say it's bad.
All right. Here comes my really dumb concept on why this card might actually be good. So you can't you special summon it, but if you work around and have a bunch of special summon cards, use that, and this is your only normal summon.
You
can
can't special
combo
summon the
even
turn you
more.
activate this.
Yes, but you can special summon before it.
No, you can't.
No, you can't.
No.
You
Nope,
can't
because
activate
you
the
can't do it
effect.
that turn, so
If you
do
could
it-
special
Oh,
summon
boy,
before
yeah,
it, it
no,
would say
no.
like, then you cannot special summon for the rest of the turn or something like
Oh
that.
no, this is bad. Then never mind.
Yeah,
I'm not
gonna say
doing this.
no. But yeah.
So
I mean,
yeah, you were right. Card D is weird because there was a period of time where it was in a lot of competitive decks, but even like when people go back to those formats, you very frequently hear people going like, "Why were we playing this?"
You need to special summon, and you're essentially just using your first turn to get 2 extra cards, which it could be used in some decks, like maybe like decks that normal summon a lot. Like if there was
If there
a
had been- Theoretically, you could play this in like a
Monarch,
trap deck.
or yeah, like a trap deck, but
Yeah.
like, for the most part, probably not.
Especially in the modern game, it's way too
Yeah,
slow.
in the modern
yeah,
card,
no,
it is
modern-
way.
cool. Be a nightmare.
Oh, it's this one.
I'll do this one. Once per turn at the end of the battle phase, return this card from the field to the hand. You can only use each effect of the following of Ken the Warrior Dragon once per turn. During your main phase, you can special summon one Gen the Diamond Tiger from your hand or deck to your opponent's field in defense position. If this card is special summoned by the effect of Gen the Diamond Tiger, you can draw 2 cards. Then they discard 1 card.
Okay.
Your opponent draws 2 cards,
I-
then they discard 1.
See, now the whole thing with that is it relies on a whole separate card, right? Normally that's not bad.
Do
but
you
I
want to
don't-
ask about Gen the you can ask
Yeah,
about what
let's-
Gen the
let's,
Diamond
what-
Tiger
what's he do?
does.
I do
What-
have
what's
Gen
he
the
do?
Diamond Tiger pulled up. So, once per turn, at the end of the battle phase, return this card from the field to the hand. You can only use each of the following effects once per turn. During your main phase, you can special summon one Ken the Warrior Dragon from your hand or deck to your opponent's field in defense position, and if this card is special summoned by the effect of Ken the Warrior Dragon, discard 1 card.
We're on a see. I don't know. This is
Oh
like-
shit, fuck.
Oh.
Ah,
Well,
well,
just
that's
count.
fine.
Well, okay, so
I was thinking because it could be good or bad. But I don't.
I'll let you
know.
count that as you win it for our mistake. But yeah, it's kind of crazy.
Specifically, there's a deck called Mikanko, which it has this gimmick of having like a big 0 attack point monster that you hit into things to do damage to your opponent. And people were playing this in that deck to give their opponent a monster, and you'd be able to you could Xyz summon with it somehow. I don't remember how.
Yeah,
worked,
to make
but-
like acid golem, but yeah.
So what you would do is you would summon one of them to. What you would do is you would you would normal summon one of them to your field and then special summon the other to your opponent's field, and then you okay, say you summon Ken the Warrior Dragon to your opponent's field because you normal summoned Gen, right? Then you draw 2 cards, then discard 1, and get to activate Graceful Charity, basically.
Yeah, it's essentially Graceful Charity. Well, yeah, Graceful Charity. What about Graceful Charity? And it's essentially an advantage engine where you get a card to your opponent's field, which then makes you, the owner of Ken, draw a card. Are these TCG exclusives at one point? I feel like I remember seeing them as TCG exclusives.
I don't think we've had like singular TCG exclusive cards in a while.
Yeah, my whole
Heck, we
I
couldn't
didn't
even
know
get them
how-
every set.
When I was thinking of whether this card was good
Oh,
or
he's
bad,
back.
I just didn't know, like, what it was played in, right? Because it's very... It can be good in some ways, but it's also bad at other parts. The whole
Yeah,
thing.
one of
It
the big things I could see going wrong here is like, I need to remember not to click back onto the slides if I have to go to a different window. But anyway, one of the big things I could see going wrong is like, you could give your opponent material to summon with, or
For the most part,
Yeah.
it's a pretty good card, especially if you have something that like stops them from special summoning if they have like.
but
A
also at
monster,
the end
you
of the
know, like-
battle phase it goes back to the hand, so you can kind of see what's going on there.
Right.
Generally pretty good though. Pretty good.
All right, London, you all good?
Yeah, welcome back, guys. Part 2 of my computer crashing at random times.
Oh boy.
Oh.
I'm gonna tell you now, I have no clue on why my computer crashed. It just did.
Was it heating up? Overheated?
No, it was fine.
Hmm.
At first I thought it was lag because you guys got all glitchy, and then everything just stopped. I was like, uh-oh.
Youch. All right, let's continue then.
Who's next? Ah.
Oh
Your
boy.
turn.
I remember I tried to play Acer
Yeah.
at one point.
So
It
this
was
is-
not great.
This is Thor, Lord of the Aesir. It requires 1 Nordic Beast tuner plus 2 plus non-tuners. Once per turn, you can negate the effects of all face-up monsters your opponent currently controls until the end of this turn. Once per turn during the end phase, if this face-up card you controlled was destroyed by your opponent's card and sent to your graveyard this turn, you can banish 1 Nordic Beast tuner from your graveyard, special summon this card. If summoned this way, inflict 800 damage to your opponent.
Okay. So this again, are we playing in the Acer deck, like a Nordic Beast deck?
Yeah,
kinda
we're
thing?
assuming that you're playing it in its home archetype.
Yeah.
For its archetype, I feel like it's good, but outside of that, I don't think it would be too well.
Okay.
Yeah,
So-
I 100 out of the 3 lords of Acer, I think Thor is the best out of the 3 in his respective turf, but take him out of that and I'm pretty confident that things would not end the same way.
Yeah, so you're exactly right. This card reads crazy. The problem.
It's got some problems though. Many problems. What do you mean the problem? It's got a
True.
couple.
First of all, this you have to have at least 3 monsters on field to make this.
Which is pretty difficult frequently. Usually with something of this level you get like 2 monsters that were good levels, like an 8 or I don't even know what level this thing is. It's like a
Four,
this
five,
is
six,
level
seven,
10.
eight, 9, 10, yeah.
We have like 2 level 5s or a 4 and a 6, but this requires you to have really odd numbers on your field. Since it's not like easily divisible, you'd have to get like a 3 and a 3 and a 4.
The negate is notably not on a quick effect, so you're only negating things on your turn.
True.
Could go in second, but you better hope they aren't activating anything before you can
that,
make
that
Thor.
negate kind of was like, oh wait, that sounds good from a Magic player's perspective. And I'm like, wait a second.
It's
Oh, wrong
not.
thing.
Yeah, it's like it's not an instant.
Right.
Um,
Yeah, because in Magic, for those of you who don't know, once per turn can just mean anyone's turn at any point, if it would debate. But yeah. I don't know.
Here.
and then it has that recursion, which is actually really nice, but
That's
it makes it really annoying to deal with. But at the same time, if they hit over it, you're probably dead anyway, so it's
Yeah.
questionable
burn-
how much it matters.
and the burn is basically life points are basically kind of pointless.
Well, especially
in...
when you're only doing 800.
The only way
Yeah.
800 would be useful as a time card, because due to Yu-Gi-Oh! Time rules, it ends at the end, like, if you're running out of time, it ends at the end of the current phase. So time cards are like, you burn them for life, their life points would be lower than yours, and then you win due to time.
My favorite part about this card is theoretically, because it's a soft once per turn, if you had infinite Nordic Beast Tuners in your graveyard, you could loop this in the end phase to kill your opponent with the burn damage.
Just gotta find a way to mill a lot
More
of
Nordic Beast Tuners than exist.
Yeah,
a lot
you
of
would
Nordic
need-
Beast Tuners.
Also, look
If
at
they
his
start at
waist.
8,000,
That man is like an hourglass.
Yeah.
male
I've heard of an hourglass figure, but this is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Alright,
Definitely not. This
card.
Okay, yeah, we couldn't find a render of this for some reason in English, but simultaneous equation cannons. Banish 2 Xyz monsters with the same rank and 1 fusion monster from your extra deck whose combined levels and ranks equal the total number of cards on the field and in both players' hands. Then, you can return one of each of your banished fusion and Xyz monsters to the extra deck whose combined level and rank equal the level or rank of 1 face-up monster your opponent controls. Then banish all cards your opponent
you
controls.
don't even have to finish. It's just bad.
No, yeah, this is
It's just bad.
it's a really really bad board wipe, but there's other things that can do it, and it's a lot of complicated
It's
steps.
like, oh yeah, and you have to, and this effect depends on what's in their hand that you can't see.
Yeah,
well,
well, not
guys,
even
so-
that.
May I
We
introduce
bamboozled
to you the third type of card in this video? This is a funny card.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Okay, I was
yeah.
gonna say,
Yeah.
why
You're
was this
correct,
in
though,
there?
it's bad.
Too easy to tell.
This card is so bad. So
It is.
they really printed a card and said, Yu-Gi-Oh players do calculus.
Yeah, pretty much.
Do calculus. You would have to get out a pad of paper to calculate how
The
to effectively use this
The original
card.
card that was going to take this slot was the original linear equation cannon, and then I remembered this existed.
It is absurd. It is. In the archetypes that can run this, very few. You have to be able to have an archetype that runs
You'd have to build
Xyz
your
and-
entire deck around this.
In theory, it's a board wipe. Not a good one.
I
Not
mean,
a good
hey,
one. It would be
banish all
funny.
cards
I
your
don't
opponent
disagree. It'd be
controls.
funny.
That's a pretty crazy effect.
I mean, I think if
But
anyone
then,
plays
you know-
this and actually gets it off, I think I'm just gonna quit. Because I
Oh,
think there's
100%.
shit in it.
Well,
Yeah,
if
this is
they
one of
get
this is
off
one of
a
those
board wipe-
cards where if somebody resolves this against you, you just leave.
You just
Yeah,
leave.
it's like, you know
quit
what?
Yu-Gi-Oh.
Fine, you win. I'm done. Hey, quit.
Like white hole.
Did not add that.
All right. Here is number C88, Gimmick Puppet Disaster Leo. It can be made with 4 level 9 monsters, except it can't because it must be special summoned with a rank up magic spell targeting number 88, Gimmick Puppet of Leo. Neither player can target this card on the field with card effects. Once per turn, you can detach 1 material from this card, inflict 1,000 damage to your opponent. During your end phase, if your opponent's life points are 2,000 or less, and this card has no materials, you win the duel.
Okay. May I ask what gimmick Puppet of Leo takes?
Yeah, let me go pull up number 88.
Hey, when you click
Yeah,
back, don't click on this. Don't click on
Yeah,
I'm
this.
just not gonna click
no.
back until I'm just not gonna click back until you guys come to your decisions. Number 88. Gimmick Puppet of Leo's materials are 3 level 8 monsters, though I should say in its archetype that's not actually the most difficult thing to do.
Yeah, Gimmick Puppet's really good at making level 8s, I
Yeah.
believe.
Okay.
The only downside is that you have to have a specific card in. But then again,
Oh, and when it says a rank up magic spell, there's a bunch of those.
There's to
Right,
clarify, there are a
yeah.
lot of rank up magics. It's like one of the main. It's like was a big gimmick of this era was rank up
you
magics.
could say it's a big gimmick of Gimmick Puppet.
I mean, yeah,
Yeah, you could say that.
you could say.
Alright. I think I have one more question before I get to my answer. How easy is it to get your opponent to 2,000 life using this respective
Well, you wouldn't
archetype?
only be using this, right? Because you'd also have your monsters that you can just attack into them with.
Yeah.
My question is, during when this whole thing was like when this card was used a lot, was there a lot
we're
of
assuming
things
it
with
was.
more? Well, yeah. Was there a lot more attack, like things with higher attack power and
When was
different
this card
stuff like
printed?
that.
I don't know when number
I think
C88
this
was
image
printed.
is from a
2020.
reprint set.
Ah, yeah,
Number
this was from 2020. Was that image?
Yeah, number
Not even
let me-
necessarily all of the every modern Yu-Gi-Oh card says 2020.
It was printed in 2014 it was premium gold. That was its first set. It was
in
premium gold.
Oh boy.
Okay, that is
I don't think you were struggling for big monsters in 2014.
yeah, there were a lot of big monsters back then. I think like
Okay.
oh yeah, like Utopias exist and stuff. Like there were you were making big monsters.
Like it sounds great, but I don't know how it like. In the time, I don't think they'd let you get the effect, right? Like, it's one of those. They take it out since there's high attack around that time. They probably just take it out right away, right? It's one of those. You see it. You
I mean,
can't
it's still
stop
difficult
it.
to hit over a guy with 3,500 attack.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's still pretty
Agree.
tough. All right, I think I have my answer though.
Yeah, I think it's. I want to say good because yeah, I'm gonna say it was a good card at the time.
I mean, I highly doubt you put two back to back, but I'm gonna rank this as funny good because it would be hilarious if you win using this card versus any other method.
So, there was a card that we had in consideration for funny good. It's not in here. It was Marionette Might. But this card is bad. Not only is this card bad, this card is worse than number 88 Gimmick Puppet of Leo.
Oh, okay, yeah, then.
it is
Yeah, that probably makes sense.
The fact of the matter is that the card has to have no materials, of which it will always have at least 4 because you overlay it onto number 88. Unless you've already previously detached materials from number 88, but that card has a different alt win condition that you already proceed towards by detaching from it.
yeah,
Okay, yes,
and
but what if you get all 4 of them off using this card, right? Then it's
in theory,
In
it could
theory,
work.
In practice, that is 4 turns.
yeah, but it's
it
not-
kind of was a little unfair even bringing up that you'd be doing damage with other monsters, because in practice, you'd kill your opponent before you could actually get the alt win condition.
Yeah.
3,500 is a lot of attack points, so the likelihood you could just kill them before you reach your own end phase, and the life points continues of life points frequently don't matter. Unless you're a Gold Pride player.
yeah, sometimes they
Yeah.
matter, but not here.
Not
fair.
Gimmick Puppet Disaster, Leo.
I don't know, 'cause like the effect sounds like it'd be good, but it's like you
Dude,
said,
this
4 turns.
I hate this card so much because look at its name, look at its design, and then
It's
they give it
so
that effect.
cool. It's so cool, but Gimmick Puppets are pretty cool. They're pretty
Tistina, anyone?
cool. We don't have any Tistinas
Oh,
here.
right.
Oh,
Yeah,
let's
we
get
did Dragon.
This is Triton Dragion. One dragon type tuner and one or more non-tuner dragon type monsters are used to make it. Must be synchro summoned and cannot be special summoned by other ways. When this card is synchro summoned, you can target up to 2 other cards you control, destroy those targets, and if you do, for each destroyed card, this card gains 1 additional attack during each battle phase this turn.
Okay, first off, why are you gonna have more than 1 battle phase this turn, right?
Oh, so every card that can attack more than once in the battle phase has to say that because of 2 cards. Literally 2 cards in the game can give you more than 1 battle phase.
I know of cards that can do that, but it's just kind of
Every card that can attack more than once says during each battle phase.
okay.
So what it means is this card gains 1 additional attack during the battle phase, and if you somehow have a second battle phase, it gains an additional attack in that battle phase too.
Well, or 2. Again, I mean, since if you destroy up to 2, you get
Okay.
2 additional
Um,
battle phases.
You know what? I think I'm gonna answer first this time, because I have a very firm belief that with enough effort, this card can be good.
Yes, with enough effort it
I
can.
think it's a good card.
But Yeah, that's right. Because yeah, you destroy things, you can get up to hit them 3 times. But what's the likelihood of them actually letting that?
Oh my god, there's a little mute icon on reactive. Dylan's muted right now.
Okay, I'm
like,
back.
I
Sorry.
really want to say this is good 'cause it's really cool. But I don't know. It just
Gotta lock in
Being-
your answer.
10 being a 10-star.
Is it 10 star?
Kind
1, 2,
of,
3, 4,
yeah.
5, 6. Yeah, it is.
It's kind of lackluster in my opinion. God, I really want to say it's good, but fuck it. I'm gonna say it's pretty good. It feels lackluster, but it can be pretty good.
So this card is good. And
It is good.
I need you to know that this card is currently $30.
Wow.
Well, I
It
know
is
what
an
I'm doing
old
my
card.
deck around.
It did not matter. The thing is, it did not matter for the longest time.
For
It
for
was
a very long time, this
lackluster.
card was not good. And
But then this upcoming set, a new archetype, or upcoming at the time of recording, called Tenpai released, which is a fire dragon archetype of synchro monsters
that
that do
mainly
a
use their effects in the battle phase.
that do a ton of and it basically OTK you. And this card in itself essentially makes it way easier to OTK. And we can also include this in the funny category as well, if we were to think about it, because again, this card has gotten reprint in years.
So
And
there was an official Konami Yu-Gi-Oh promo video where they're introducing Tenpai as a new archetype, and they mention this card and they say
You think they're gonna say, hey, we're gonna be reprinting this soon, so look on out? Nah.
check your collections or ask a friend if they have it. This random ass card from when was this
5Ds. I literally opened up the pack earlier. I found out of Myers. Yeah, Raging Battle. No, I did not pull it. I wish I pulled it. Yeah, from Raging Battle in, I think, 2009?
It's a very old card. It's randomly good again, and they decided.
Just ask a friend for it.
So did they just not reprint it?
It has not yet been reprinted. Hopefully it'll be reprinted before the end of the
will be,
year.
But it has not yet been reprinted as the time of recording.
I'm very tempted. See, I like this card. I'm very tempted to try to make the Tenpai deck.
Give me 1 second, we'll be right back.
It's also very strong.
I'm like, would I be the asshole showing up to the event?
If you show up
with the
like
Tenpai
that
deck?
kind, I think that yes, you would be.
Okay, maybe I'll make this and then take like a
like showing up.
upgraded structured deck.
Yeah, like showing up to an event like that with a meta is.
Yeah. I guess. Yeah. No, that's fair. But some days I just, some days I get pissed off just enough. I want to be that asshole, right? Like.
We are very
Like the world's against you, and so you're like, fuck it, I'm being an asshole. Everyone else is. But, yeah, See, because
Okay, I'm back.
if it wasn't for Tenpai, it wouldn't be a great card. Like,
Is this true?
I knew in certain situations that this card is really good. But
It might have. To
Theoretically,
my knowledge, it hasn't seen flame
theoretically,
before.
If your opponent has a really bad board, this reads do 9,000 damage to your opponent in the battle phase. But
Yeah.
now, I mean, if you throw something in that gives you more battle phases, maybe that's
you're not going to
better.
do that. There are 2 cards in the game that give you more battle phases.
I think they're bad.
One of them is an unfortunate report, which says your opponent conducts their battle phase twice during their next turn.
Oh, your opponent.
And the other one
Oh.
is weather report.
I think
fine,
this
you're fine.
works after looking at the wiki page. I think this works the way I want it to. So in
Okay.
in standby phase, I'm going to activate Curse of Fiend, changing all monsters to face-up attack position.
Okay.
Because of this, they are flipped, meaning that my weather
No.
report activates, destroying your Swords of Revealing Light.
Flip summon. Okay. Wait, yeah, what's the report do? Flip, yeah. Wait, destroy all face-ups. Oh, just Swords of Revealing Light. It's just swords. It's just swords.
It destroys Swords of Revealing Light. Next,
Next.
we'll activate Giant Trunade to return all spell traps on the field to the hand. Not to grave. To hand.
Say Curse of Fiend can't return back to hand. It's a.
Okay. Now,
Okay,
I will
now you can actually
change of heart
attack.
to take your Giant Germ.
Hate that. I mean, I don't think you can kill me.
I will normal summon Aquamador.
You can no, you can't.
I
You're
will
fine.
activate 2 Malevolent
Come on.
Nuzzlers targeting
No,
my
no, no, no,
Giant
no.
Soldier of Stone.
Come on. Okay, maybe I'm still fine. I might still be fine.
I will activate Rush recklessly, targeting my
No.
Giant Soldier of
Come on,
Stone.
man. No, I'm not losing this way.
And then, you know what? It doesn't matter if this is lethal, because I get 2 battle phases this turn because of Weather Report!
No.
Which says it's a flip effect that says destroy all of your opponent's swords of revealing light on the field. You can conduct an additional battle phase during this turn.
I mean, it doesn't say you have to destroy. They have to be destroyed for you to get that.
Yeah,
effect.
it does.
Oh, it does?
The PSCT works out. It does.
Oh. Okay. Well then. Never mind.
It says like then you can or something.
This might have been played before. I'm very. I've only ever heard of this card literally this week when they revealed the
Like,
when they did the reveal.
Yeah, I'm gonna make a deck off of it just because I like the card.
Tenpai is pretty cool. Tenpai is it's like mahjong themed, and it's looking like it's gonna be pretty good, like very.
This is one of
good.
those cards that I think if you showed me this art, I would not be convinced it was from Yu-Gi-Oh.
No, I agree. That totally feels like it'd be a Magic card. It's just that
It
the
looks
art
like
alone.
Eudora.
God, we should have put Prophecy Destroyer in here.
Anyway, so I'm back on ready to the next.
Yeah.
I'm ready. I'm just...
Here we go.
Here we go.
Oh, this one.
Oh
this
boy.
This is Dogmatica Albazoa. It's a ritual monster. It cannot be ritual summoned except by the cards Dogmatic Calamity or any other Dogmatica card effect. Dogmatica monsters you control are unaffected by the activated effects of your opponent's fusion, synchro, exceeds, and link monsters. During your main phase, you can make your opponent choose and apply one of these effects. You in these effects means that opponent. For every 2 cards in your extra deck, send 1 card from your hand or extra deck to the graveyard, or return all fusion, synchro, exceeds, and link monsters you control to the extra deck. You can only use this effect of Dogmatica Albazoa once per turn.
Question.
Mm-hmm.
Does Dogmatica, in general, benefit from your opponent doing any of those?
Well, any deck would, because...
Yeah, any deck would.
Yeah.
Dogmatica doesn't
right.
have.
No, okay. I thought it... Right, I blanked out for a second. I thought it meant, like, only in the graveyard. I didn't mean on field.
Yeah, no, it's on field. Yeah.
Yeah, sorry.
Control,
The
yeah.
first one says send a card from your for every 2 cards in your extra deck, send a card from your hand or extra deck to the graveyard. The second one says return all of fusion, synchro, exceeds, and links you control to the extra deck.
So, I'm assuming for the one with the extra deck, it's cards currently in the extra deck and not total cards that would be in it?
Yes,
Yes.
it would be cards that are currently in the extra deck.
Okay. I know, correct me if I'm wrong, a lot of decks like the extra deck, correct?
Yes. A lot of I will say a lot of decks like the extra deck.
Okay.
Even decks that aren't super focused on it will usually play 15 cards in it.
I don't know how Dogmatica plays, but since most decks use the extra deck, I'm gonna say it's good. Because you can either force your opponent to send a card from the extra deck to the graveyard, so they're already swimming it down, or forcefully put everything, whether it's on the field or whatever, back into the extra deck. I'm gonna say it's good.
So, yeah, when I first saw this card, I'm gonna just let out my first honest opinion. I thought it was bad for one pure description, which is it's a ritual monster. And ritual monsters tend to not be good.
This is true. Ritual
Yeah,
summoning
but,
is fairly difficult sometimes.
fairly outdated because it's old. But since it is actually other effects instead of actually being ritual summoned the normal way, and based off its everything, attack, defense, conditions, I think it would be pretty good. Because again, a lot of the time, if your opponent uses up their extra deck, having it returned is very useful. And if they have their full extra deck, that is 7 cards that they have to discard from either. So I think it's pretty good.
I think in practice, if your opponent has a full extra deck, they're gonna choose the other one because it does nothing in that position. But
True.
Yeah.
but you did get it. This card is good.
It's crazy. It is crazy. Dogmatica as an archetype, I think doesn't use the extra deck except as like
except for
for
like a bunch
specific-
of generic stuff
Right.
that they're making to, get rid of a card on board or
Right.
something.
My whole thought behind this was, what makes or breaks this card is if most decks use the active deck. Because if a lot didn't, it was trapped, right? Because they don't have reason to. If they have no cards in it, they can't send stuff back, and they can't send cards away because they don't have. them.
Shoutouts to this card randomly giving every Dogmatica monster you control protection from activated effects, by the way.
At the bare minimum, every deck uses the extra deck as a toolbox for like get out of jail scenarios,
A
like to get
toolbox
rid
for
of
generic
products.
stuff like, oh, I'll make this guy that gets rid of a card on my opponent's field or something to pop something I don't want them to have.
At worst, the extra deck is home to key combo materials that
Look,
if you
if you
don't
show-
have access to
if
them, your
I-
deck is dead.
If you show me this card and I'm playing Live Twin, I'm leaving.
True.
I mean, yeah.
I'm with
I
Hero. This
yeah,
card
keep
against
playing.
Hero kills me. It kills a Hero deck. Out of the question. All my cards are gone. They're half my combo material is just dead in the water. It is crazy.
Usually you're using this on your turn, like going second, or on the third turn if you went first, because using it in the first turn doesn't do anything really for you because they'll just choose the effect that does nothing.
Right.
But it's a real hard choice sometimes.
Yeah, it essentially forces
Yeah.
your opponent to either basically board wipe themselves or get rid of half of their, Thanos snap away half of their
True that.
tools. Yeah.
Also, don't miss the fact that this guy's 4,000 attack points.
Yeah, 2 attacks
no.
missing and you're dead.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh. Hello,
Say
friend.
hello.
Oh, boy.
Say hello to Link Karibo. To make it, you need 1 level 1 monster, and when an opponent's monster declares an attack, you contribute this card. Change that opponent's monster's attack to 0 until the end of the turn. If this card is in your graveyard, quick effect, you contribute 1 level 1 monster, special summon this card. You can only use this effect of Link Karibo once per turn.
I am going to ask that, London, you hold off on responding to this.
You might know this
until-
one.
Until Caden does.
I see. I guess if you're using a deck that uses level 1 monsters, it can be pretty good. I would say it's gonna be good.
What do
that
you
your
think,
final-
Lon?
Is that your answer?
See, now that you say that, it's making me question myself. But yeah,
No,
Is that your final
final
answer?
Final answer. It can be pretty good.
Okay, so I know this is their job, but let me just inform you. The card, I personally don't think is good, except for its effect, and it's so good, in fact, to most people that this card is now banned in
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
it is.
Link Karibo,
I heard somewhere that so like
it does
I
a
think you
couple
guys were
very
talking about it.
specific things. For one,
Karibo
in the
getting
current
banned.
format, there's a deck called Snake Eye, which is made up of mostly level 1 monsters.
And they do things when they go to the graveyard.
More classically, you could make, there's a monster in the game called Apollosa, Bow of the Goddess, which, depending on how many materials you make it with, it gets more attack, and it can use that attack to negate monster effects your opponent activates. So, classically, what you would do is you would make Apollosa and then make this to protect your Apollosa from battle, because that's its big weakness, is that if they go to the battle phase, they can just hit over it, and then your board's gone. So classically, you would make this to be able to stop that.
right.
Yeah, so good it got banned. Good riddance.
I'm sorry, my friend, but it was your time.
I think this is yours. You're the live
Yeah,
twin
I
player.
think I do have to read this one. So this is Lila Wrap. It's a continuous spell, which means you activate it from the hand and it stays on the field. Once per turn, if you special summon a monster from the graveyard, except during the damage step, you can make your opponent lose 1,000 life points, and if they do, you gain 500 life points. You can only activate this effect of Lila Wrap once per chain.
Once per chain.
Do you want me to clarify that?
Is
Yes,
it once per
please-
chain?
please clarify once per
I'm
chain.
thinking, isn't it a chain like when you have multiple effects?
The
while
chain is
you're
like the
firing?
equivalent to the stack. It functions
Yeah,
a little
okay.
differently, but
Yeah,
it is
I
like
thought
the
so.
equivalent to the stack. To
Okay.
maybe clarify this a little bit more, there are two types of once per turns in Yu-Gi-Oh! If a card just says once per turn, the way this one does, it is a soft once per turn, meaning that that specific copy of that card can only be activated once, but if you have another copy of it, you can activate that one on the same turn. If it says you can only activate this effect once per whatever, like it does down here, with once per chain, that means that it is a hard once per turn, or in this case, a hard once per chain, meaning that you would only be able to, like in this specific case, you would only be able to activate one copy of this on that chain, and then on the next one, you could activate another copy.
Okay.
It's very weird. In this instance, it's very weird.
I think
About
I
that's the
under-
only
I
card in the
understand what it
game that
says.
functions
Wait.
like this.
I get what it says. I'm gonna say it's bad because I think with live twins, it's all about, when I see it, it's just, oh, here's two. All right, now they make this, and then because this is on the field, I have to make this, and because this, I do this. But I think it's bad because there's not many chains at once.
So I'm gonna probably hurt every live twin person with my thought process here. If I remember live twins, they do tend to make stuff out of their grave, pretty often. I don't know if it's special summon. I'm assuming it is.
Yeah, you can't normal summon a monster from grave. I'll just say
Yeah.
that.
So the issue
For now.
I see is the once per turn.
Look, Dylan, if they ever print a card that allows you to normal summon out of the graveyard, that's
But-
it. Pack it up and leave.
I think the once per turn and once per chain make it a little less viable, but overall, I think this card is pretty good.
Okay, so I hate to say it, this card is so bad. This card is so bad. In practice, while yes, you would be able to, especially because of the way Live Twin summons work, you could summon one and then activate this, and then you, on a new chain, summon the other one and then activate the next copy. In practice, it's just not enough to matter. Like,
Yeah. Also, note that Live Twin as an archetype don't actually have either of the twins' names in the spell trap, name.
yeah, you can't
So this
search
card is
a Lila
unsearchable.
spell card. You would have to draw this.
Yeah, you would have to draw this.
Okay.
There's a lot of problems with this card. Another among them being the fact that the deck doesn't burn. Like,
Technically, it does have a couple burn cards, but not enough to matter.
In
it
my
has a
opinion,
worse
the best
version of
burn
Masquerade
card-
the Blazing Dragon.
Cauldron of the Old Man, best burn card.
Honestly, you would probably do better with Cauldron of the Old Man than this.
100%, yeah.
You also
'Cause it
already
just
have.
happens.
The other problem is you also already have a continuous spell as your main, searching spell in this deck. So you're already clogging your spell trap zones. Anyway, I could
You
rant
just
about this
wanna-
card for a while, but...
Fair enough.
Oh, this guy.
Okay, Level Eater. If this card is in your graveyard, you can target one level 5 or higher monster you control, reduce its level by 1. And if you do, special summon this card. This face-up card on the field cannot be tributed except for a tribute summon.
Okay. I'm gonna ask. I'm gonna ask a very.
Is the level reduction permanent?
Yes.
Yes.
Well, permanent as in the sense while it's on field. Once it gets away from the if it gets
Yeah.
into the graveyard, it is no longer a level decreased. It is still it goes back to its initial level.
I want to say, Lennon, do you have anything you want to ask before
Yeah,
I
I do have two questions. What is the context in using level leader? That's the
That's for
main
you to
question
figure
here.
Yeah, yeah, we
boy.
can't exactly say what people use
what
these
I'm
cards
thinking
for.
is like synchros and stuff. If you need one thing like one level shorter, you could use it to reduce one of the cards a level.
Yeah.
But I don't know how well that would work in a lot of decks too. Because my thought is, if this is played in synchro, it can be a lifesaver, right? Let's say you need level 5 creature, you have a level 6, you have that in your grave, you can use it. There you go.
Mhm.
And you get a level 1 creature if you need it for something.
Yeah.
But normally, I don't think it'll be that good of a card, because you see a lot of like, if you're using high level cards, your deck is based off of getting those high level, right? You're not over here like, oh man, I need to reduce this guy down.
Lenny, you say you had a second question about this card?
No, I think that answers both.
So final answers?
I'm gonna say it's pretty bad. Outside
Oh,
of
yeah,
these
this
three
is-
cards.
You say it's bad, or you can say it's
Outside
good or
of
bad?
synchro, it's bad.
So you're gonna say it's a bad card?
Yes.
Like,
Final answer.
Yeah,
Okay.
in the right use, it would be a good card, but on its own and being a very bad card in general, I think I gotta go with it as bad.
So, I think there is a line of text that is not on this card that is very important.
You-
Mainly a line of text saying you cannot, or you can only use each effect of Level Eater once per turn.
Also, links exist. This
This is just
This is
infinite
essentially-
link material.
I
Yeah.
forgot about Link.
This card
I
got
forgot how Link works.
this card was legal for 1 weekend. It got released and immediately banned after like 1 weekend because there was like so many FTKs going around.
I think
like,
when they printed this, that was the exact use case was what you described, right? I think when they printed
Yeah.
this, they were thinking, oh, people could use this to reduce their levels for synchros or Xyz or whatever. But links exist, so
Yeah, I don't use
kinda-
Links. I've never used them.
I did
So-
kind of forget about links. I'm not gonna
you
lie.
can
Yeah.
FTK with this so fast.
You know, I thought I kind of just
Blue Eyes had an FTK
Yeah.
with this.
the effects of itself. I just kind of thought, okay, it's a once per turn, not realizing it didn't state it in the text.
It is not. Yeah. It is one of the
That is
craziest
very
cards of all time.
fun fact, by the way, if this card had once per turn : at the start of it, it still wouldn't matter because when a card goes to the graveyard, it's considered a different copy.
You would have to say
Oh,
you can only use
boy.
the effective Level Eater once per turn, and even if you can only use it once per turn, I would imagine still people would still play Level Eater. It
There
is
was a card that was
essentially
banned
free
once
link
because it was
material.
a soft once per duel, which meant that if you had multiple copies of it in your graveyard, it was completely impossible to tell which one had already activated its effect.
Yu-Gi-Oh!
You gotta love Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yeah.
Okay,
Love
what's
it.
Next?
Check out
Is that
Mech
a
Knight
check
Atherum.
this out.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's a funny card.
This is definitely funny. I don't know
Did I
which
give it
funny
away?
way this
Oh,
is,
no. Yeah,
but-
yeah, you're right. You're right.
It's
You're
one of
right.
the funniest cards ever printed.
So-
Oh wait,
Yeah, it's
So
that little-
obviously, it's a 2,000 attack point normal monster. But I want to draw your attention to the flavor text because yeah, obviously, check this out is funny, but
the initial flavor text is
I'm gonna pull it up. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
it is-
the original flavor text for Mech Knight Avram, as it was in Japanese. The hero who defends the light of the stars must destroy the darkness of the illusory world and entrust his power to the Chosen One. The will inherited by the Chalice of the Stars will become a new key and become the sword that cuts down darkness. Or, according to Konami of America, check this out!
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
like this really cool text. Check this out. It's like, damn it.
I'm
It's
checking
really
it out, Avram.
I need
And,
this
you know,
card.
and then Avram gets blue hair and pronouns, so...
I need this card to be updated to just be check out the Japanese card.
you know, the text.
They should print a lost art of this card, but call it a lost text, and it just has the original flavor text.
It's glorious. Mech Knight Avram's great. Not good. Not very much.
The
Mech Knight
funny
doesn't even
category
play.
is mainly an excuse to just show you cards that we need you to know exist.
Yeah, fair enough.
I mean, the second I installed the card itself, I was like, oh, this is a funny card, because there's nothing on here to make it seem good.
There could be some good normal monsters. Not on this list, but
On this list.
Usually it's because they exist in a circumstance where you need a normal monster. Like there's a few that
Yeah.
Dino plays, like Megalo Smasher X.
yeah, but not Mech Knights.
Oh, right.
Oh
Who
boy.
wants Endymion, the mighty master of
Yeah,
magic?
so this is Endymion, the mighty master of magic. So let me explain what a pendulum is.
They know what a pendulum is.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it can be treated as a continuous spell. So its effect, if it is a continuous spell, is you can remove 6 spell counters from your field, special summon this card from the Pendulum Zone, then count the number of cards you control that can have a spell counter, destroy up to that many cards on the field, and if you do, place spell counters on this card equal to the number of cards destroyed. You can only use this effect once per turn. And then its effect if it's a monster. Once per turn, when a spell or trap card or effect is activated, quick effect, you can return 1 card you control with a spell counter to the hand, and if you do, negate the activation, and if you do that, destroy it. Then you can place the same number of spell counters on this card that the returned card had. While this card has a spell counter, your opponent cannot target it with card effects. Also, it cannot be destroyed by your opponent's card effects. When this card with a spell counter is destroyed by battle, you can add 1 normal spell from your deck to your hand.
Oh boy.
That's a lot of text.
It's a lot of text, and I'm about to
And I think I have my.
go ahead.
I think it's bad.
You know, I want to agree with that for one reason. It's a pendulum monster, and pendulum monsters don't get play. But the issue I see with saying it's bad is this could very easily be good in the right use of actually having spell counters.
Yeah, counterpoint. What
so-
the fuck are spell counters? I've never heard of them outside of
They're
this. stuff.
they're counters for this deck, I believe. It's like whatever, like these cards will generate spell counters and do stuff for that.
Clarification on spell counters. A lot of counters, spells or cards that create counters in Yu-Gi-Oh! Will just say, put it on a monster. Spell counters are weird in that the card has to specifically be able to have spell counters on it. I don't know why.
They've been
it's
around
like
for a
that.
while, I think, right? Like,
They
I
have,
feel like I remember spell...
Breaker the Magical Warrior has a spell counter on it.
Yeah, spell counters have been around for a very long time. It is not a popular mechanic, but it's been a mechanic.
So, I think with all the information, I am gonna have to sway the other way, and I will be okay if I'm wrong. I think this card might actually be good because it also has a quick effect negate. So
It does.
It does.
So
You'd be correct.
yeah, not in the modern game, obviously, but
obviously,
when this card was printed, it was pretty good. The funny thing about this
I'll play.
card is that whenever people complain about how modern Yu-Gi-Oh! Is bad now or something, because we only played it on the playground and never actually played the competitive version, which was really fucking bad and was just worse Magic the Gathering. Whenever people do that kind of video, this is one of the cards they always show.
This is an Act-Man call-out post.
This is an actor and call out post. Shoutouts to Chaotic Seed Gustav Dragon.
Yeah, I don't know. I just never heard of spell counters, so I figured, fuck this. Since I don't understand that.
When Endymion released, there were a bunch of other cards printed to facilitate the whole spell counter game plan.
I assume so, but I
Yeah, like a whole archetype
Never-
came out for Endymion.
like even when this card was printed, I never heard of it, so I figured it's not talked about, but it's probably not that great.
You can tell if a card was printed before 2020 because that's when the copyright changes from copyright 1996 Kazuki Takahashi to copyright 2020 Studio Dice Konami. Yeah, this is one of those cards that I kind of just needed to show you because I think it's hilarious how much text
It
is
is
on this
good.
thing.
Yeah.
Too much text. Too much text.
You pause recording, I'll go use the restroom.
Okay.
I'm back.
oh, he's back.
He's back.
Sorry.
The
He
man.
is back. All right, let's continue then.
Let us continue.
Oh, it's my turn as the
Yeah,
hero
this
player.
one's
I
on
get to
you.
explain heroes. This is Contrast Hero Chaos. To make it, you gotta fuse 2 masked hero monsters, and this card is always treated as an elemental hero card. Must be fusion summoned and cannot be special summoned by other ways. While face up on the field, this card is also light attribute. Once per turn, during either player's turn, you can target 1 face up card on the field, negate that target's effects until the end of this turn.
Ooh.
Feel free to ask any questions about what you think.
Kaden, you got any questions?
Yeah, aren't Masters like super annoying to get onto the field?
Masked heroes require, to get masked heroes on the field, you need to activate, a mask change spell on a hero, and then
it'll allow you to summon a masked hero.
Of the same attribute.
They don't necessarily need to be on field, though, if you have a fusion spell that can fuse monsters from, like, the graveyard, for instance, which I will tell you, heroes do have that.
Yeah, heroes have a spell to banish stuff from their graveyard to special summon a hero from the extra deck.
Well, I think I'm good to go. But
I'm gonna say. I'm gonna say it's good.
Yeah, I might get some yelling from Dylan. I'm gonna say that this card is it's bad. For 1 line of text is missing from this card, which is quick effect. Meaning that
Once
you
per
can only
turn during
negate.
either player's turn.
Yeah. So it's.
Oh,
it's,
does it say that?
I will
Yeah.
say this. It is a spell speed 1 effect that can be activated on either player's turn.
The fuck is spell speed?
Okay.
So spell speed 1 is like a
Normal
sorcery.
spell.
Spell speed 2 is like an instant.
Yeah.
And then spell speed 3 is a special thing that only counter traps have. It doesn't matter.
No, spell speed 4, but
Oh
yeah.
boy.
It's essentially like a
Or it doesn't
hierarchy.
technically exist.
It's like a hierarchy of stuff that can be activated after one another, and once an effect of that spell speed has been of a higher spell speed's been activated, you can't activate one of a lower one. So say if you've activated spell speed 2, you can't activate spell speed 1. If a counter trap has went off, you can't chain a spell speed 2 or 1 to the spell speed 3.
Okay. I still don't think that changes it, because even if it's a 1 negate that does really nothing else per se. I mean, I guess the fact that it's treated as an elemental hero and it's also a light attribute and a dark, I'm guessing.
Yeah,
I
it's
think
like
it has some use, but in my opinion, it's a really bad fusion monster negate. So I'm gonna go with bad.
Okay. Yeah, this card's not
yeah,
good.
as a hero player, Lynn is correct. Kane, you were on the right path at first with it being difficult to make. While masked heroes while this can be banished to make it, since it's an elemental hero using Miracle Fusion, the issue is that heroes' deck is so tight you don't have an easy way to send stuff to the graveyard, so you have to use masked
play
heroes.
like extra foolish burial to send monsters from the extra deck to the graveyard, but like at that point.
As well as, masters are hard to create, and there's only 1 card that adds a mask change from your deck to your hand, and it has to be special summon, Elemental Hero Shadow Mist. And London was also on the right track, because Hero has so many different ways of interaction. A spell speed 1 negate on, sure, any card on the field, it is, you have better extra deck monsters that you can use.
It's just not enough to make the card good.
There are better masked heroes. Darklaw exists.
I knew of Darklaw, but I also knew he was incredibly hard to get.
Darklaw is, he can be a pain sometimes, depending on your hand. But like Darklaw's crazy. If you can make Darklaw, why make Contrast Hero?
It's just not a reason, yeah.
Sorry, Darklaw's one of the craziest cards ever printed.
All right, next up, here is Zodiac Trident. Requires 4 level 4 monsters, but once per turn you can also exceed summon Zodiac Trident by using 1 Zodiac monster you control with a different name as material. You would transfer its materials to this card. Does that seriously not say 1 Zodiac Exceeds monster? Weird. Anyway.
Well, if it doesn't say Exceeds, I can do any Zodiac.
It gains,
Yep.
So this card gains attack and defense equal to the attack and defense of all Zodiac monsters attached to it as material. And once per turn, as a quick effect, you can detach one material from this card, then target one face-up card on the field and destroy it.
Oh boy.
Ooh, that throws me at an impasse here. Because like, you could use any Zodiac card to bring it out, because it doesn't specify Exceed.
Mhm.
But obviously, if you use Exceeds that use the Zodiacs to summon it, it gets stronger.
Yeah, ton material.
But it can also wipe Trouble Problem. I feel like this card is just a out to any card, if need be, right? Because you could just, I have this 1-star Zodiac, throw it on there, and then get rid of the material to get rid of your big monster, right? But if it's your game-winning card by damage and you have to use its ability, you are weakening it significantly. And I don't know how Zodiac works. I don't know if there's a lot of removal in Zodiac or not.
I mean, you can ask. Ask a question if you want to ask me.
Is there decent removal for Zodiac?
I don't know much about Zodiac in general. I'll tell you, Zodiac's main gimmick is the materials underneath the Xyz giving it extra effects. So like the effects underneath the Zodiac Drying could give it additional things.
Is that even true? Hold on.
I'm pretty sure I'm like 99% sure that's Zodiac's gimmick.
Zodiac.
Well,
So yeah,
Yeah.
Because it really depends how you look at this. Like, if this is the heaviest hitter of Zodiac, it's good, but not great.
Yeah, I don't think that's true, Dylan.
I guess I was just wrong.
Zodiac's actual main gimmick, from what I can remember, is you can make one of the Xyz and then just like you keep putting the next one up on it.
Like Jenga.
I'm gonna say it's good. I'm gonna have to say it's good. I feel like it can be bad too, but it can also be really good.
yeah, I'm gonna go on the opposite spectrum. I'm gonna say it's bad. I mean, in the right circumstance, if you get all 4 level 4 monsters,
I'm gonna tell you right now, you're never making it that way.
Yeah.
That's only
no,
really
you're just
more
trying
for,
to-
if you did make it that way, it would work fine. If there's a cheaper Zodiac that does or Zodiac that does more, I guess you can also summon it on top of that to give it better attack and defense. But personally, even its detach of just destroying a card, it would weaken itself in that. So I'm gonna say it's actually pretty bad. Well, maybe not pretty bad, but it's somewhat bad.
So, this card has been involved in multiple tier 0 decks throughout time.
Yeah, multiple Zodiacs are still banned to this day. Not Dryden. Dryden's
Dryden's legal, but I think Chaka9 is the one that's banned.
And Broadbill. Broadbill's still banned in the TCG.
Broadbull, definitely. Jesus Christ, that card.
What was Broadbull?
Yeah, let me go pull up Zodiac Broadbull.
I got it already. Once per turn, you can. It's exactly the same about using it as one Zodiac monster as material for it. And then gains attack based on its materials, and you can detach one Xyz material from this card. Add one Beast Warrior type monster that can be normal summon set from your deck to your hand.
Oh God.
Oh Jesus.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Broadbull's been banned for a long time, but yeah, Dryden was also banned for a period.
Yeah, Zodiac has been tier 0 multiple times. As it turns out,
It's good.
Popping a monster, especially during the formats where this was that insanely good, it's a pretty good effect.
It's pretty good.
And also, this does not say you can only use this effect once per turn. It's soft once per turn. And because of the way the Zodiac monsters work, you could have 3 Tridents on field.
Yeah, it is easy to get 3 Dryens on field and just have 3 pops for each of your Dryens.
Yeah.
Zodiac's crazy. Zodiac has been crazy for many times.
Okay, we're
So
back.
far, I
What are you
think-
saying now about Zodiac?
Yeah.
So, yeah, Zodiac's been tier 0 multiple times. You could make 3 of this card. What I was saying is that this is one of those cards that, because you never look at it closely, I didn't know Dryden was a woman for a very long time.
Yeah. I didn't realize till you started talking about you don't look at it, and then I was like, wait, what?
Because when Dryden hits the field, you're kind of just like, well, they have Dryden.
Yes, I'm dead.
Okay.
Now it's my turn as
Oh,
the
boy.
Eldritch player. This is a trap card, El Dorado Adlentado. If you control an Eldritch monster, activate one of these effects. Shuffle 3 of your banished Eldlixir spell traps with different names into the deck, and if you do, destroy all cards on the field. Shuffle 3 of your banished Golden Land spell traps with different names into the deck, and if you do, have your opponent's life points, then gain life points equal to your opponent's life points. You can only activate one El Dorado Adlentado per turn.
Which functionally means the effect is a once per turn, unless you do some weird shenanigans.
Yeah, it's a once per turn.
But also, doesn't it go away after you activate it? Because it's not.
It is not a continuous. Yeah, you activate it and then the effect goes off. So then you shuffle and you do the effect.
I'm gonna say it's good.
So, to piggyback and explain more, I think it's good. The only downside I can see is the fact that you have to have banished cards, which I'm assuming
They
Eldritch
banished
does.
them.
Yeah,
They
I-
are. they
Yeah,
banished
okay, so
themselves.
yeah, this is good. The first effect is okay. If you have a really weak Eldritch, you'll be fine, but since
There's only one
have to
Eldritch and it's
control-
crazy.
Yeah,
There's
if
only one
you-
Eldritch in the game. It's one of the craziest cards ever printed.
Yeah, you have to control ones, so I think the first effect might be slightly weaker, but
Well,
both
that's
of them
technically
are
not
still
true,
pretty
Dylan,
good.
but we'll talk about that in a minute.
So yeah,
Yeah.
I think this card is also pretty good.
Oh, but yeah, you're right. Okay, so this card's awful.
Oh.
This is one of the worst cards ever printed. My god. Okay, so first off,
Okay,
if you control an
explain.
Eldritch, doesn't matter. You're always gonna have an Eldritch on field.
You will always
Now.
control an Eldritch monster.
So the first
well,
card,
Technically, if it destroys all cards on the field, it destroys.
Eldritch has destruction protection when it gets special summon from the graveyard.
I guess if you. If you do it the same turn. If you do it any turn after that, it's gone.
Yeah.
but then it just comes back. That's its gimmick.
Fair enough.
So we have the first problem is in the name. First of all, I love the name El Dorado Adlentado, coolest name ever printed. One problem, it does not say Golden Land or Eldlixir, so this thing is unsearchable. You have to draw this.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, that's
Uh,
fair.
Problem 2, there are only 3 Eldlixirs, and there are only 3 Golden Lands with different names.
Okay,
So you,
yeah,
in theory, have to get
If it said
all
shuffle 3
Eldritch.
of your banished Eldlixir spell traps, or shuffle 3 of your banished Golden Land spell traps, and just ended that part of the sentence there, it'd be quite a bit better.
it would be pretty good, but
Fair
the
enough.
effects are great, but the shuffling, it is grindy. You have to play a lot of these to be able to get that many. At the earliest, you're gonna get these on turn 3. At the earliest, you're gonna activate these
if
turn
you are
3.
activating this card, you have already won the game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I play it. It's bad, though. It's real bad.
So when
Okay.
I said that there is
Makes sense.
technically more than one Eldritch monster,
You are correct. There is Mad Golden Lord.
so there's Eldritch the Golden Lord, which is the one that's actually good, and then there is Eldritch the Mad Golden Lord, which is a fusion monster that
the
we
only thing
almost
it does.
put that on here, but
That
I
part was
assumed
interesting.
I assumed you guys knew enough about it.
I
it
knew
would
that
work.
card because I used it.
Uh,
I used it.
The
That was
only
the
thing
card
that
I
makes
tried
it
to use.
better is that it has battle protection, and you can tribute one of your zombies to then steal one of your opponent's monsters, but its effects are negated.
Yeah, it was
It's
not.
Shoutouts to the
rough.
fact that Eldritch the Mad Golden Lord,
it's based though.
it is based. This is true. It requires one Eldritch monster and one level 5 or higher zombie monster, which is basically always going to be another Eldritch.
No, Golden Land. Golden Lands are the Golden
Are they
Land
level
cards are.
fives?
Yeah, they're level 5 or higher. Yeah. Conquistador and Haquero are level 5, and Beast of the Golden Land is level 8.
Well,
Still, they're not gonna be on field long enough for you to fusion summon with it very frequently. I wish it was good, man. I wish this card was good, but
what he does for the deck is give it a version that is based.
Beast.
Alright. Here is Amorphage Lechery. So this is another pendulum monster. While it's in the pendulum zone as a continuous spell, so you activate for you get it. While you control an Amorphage monster, neither player can activate spell cards or their effects except for Amorphage cards. Once per turn during your standby phase, tribute a monster or destroy this card. And then its monster effect: if this card is pendulum summoned or flipped face up, neither player can special summon monsters from the extra deck while this card is face up on the field except Amorphage monsters.
Okay.
Big question: is there a lot of Amrophage monsters?
It's a whole archetype. There is a whole,
whole
archetype of Amorphage monsters.
Yeah, there are an archetype's worth. I don't know the exact number off the top of my head, but there is a good number of Amorphages.
Okay. Second question: are they good?
That cannot be stated.
Yeah,
I'm
that kind of ruins the.
I'm gonna say this ain't great.
I'm looking at this from both perspectives, as both using it as a pendulum monster and using it as a effect monster. Both are not great. I mean, if you have a lot of Amorphage in your extra deck, it works fine. But tributing to keep it up in your pendulum zone makes it kind of not viable unless it makes a bunch of Amorphages.
Unless like the Amorphage have abilities that are only activated on tribute.
True.
I guess I should be saying, is there abilities to activate on tribute with the?
I'm not going to tell you that.
Okay, well then.
I am, if since information has been withheld, as of the stating of it, I am going to say that this is still bad. It could be good if Amorphage is good. That's it. But
right, yeah, I don't know Amorphage.
You don't know that, so I'm going to go with that.
You are right, but not entirely for the correct reason. These effects are fucking insane.
This is one of the floodgates ever printed.
If I had my way, this entire archetype would be on the ban list. Because this entire archetype is just an archetype of floodgates. The problem is...
It has a couple.
Yeah, you know. You wanna take this?
I mean, I know a couple. Particularly the pendulum scales are real weird. Five is like, it's like right dead in the middle.
Yeah.
You want either really low or really high pendulum scales to pendulum summon, and that is a middle, not very great. Also, pendulum nowadays, especially in the most recent years, have become this kind of soup. Pendulum, you just throw good pendulum cards together, and it's just, you play it. Like, there's no pendulum archetypes anymore, just pendulum.
I mean, there are,
but like most you'd be playing this in a pendulum soup, and an effect that makes it where you can only use Amorphages is not really good.
Theoretically, you can play a really annoying stun build with this, but don't.
But don't.
So, hey, at least we got it right.
You did get it right.
But we got it right. That's all.
You did get it right.
Yeah, we
did read this card correctly.
This is fun. We should do more.
Ah, this time. Garura, Wings of Resonant Life. To make this, you need two monsters with the same type and attribute, but different names.
Yeah, that's not that hard.
And any battle damage your opponent takes from battles involving this card is doubled. And if this card is sent to the graveyard, you can draw one card. You can only use this effect of Garura, Wings of Resonant Life once per turn.
So what I'm hearing is... It basically does 3,000 damage minimum. If it hits.
Assuming you attack directly.
Yeah, if you
Remember,
attack directly, yeah.
Remember that Yu-Gi-Oh! Works on a different axis than Magic. You have to hit into your opponent's monsters before you can attack them directly.
Right.
It does do a lot of battle damage, though. Like if you were to attack them in any way, it would do damage to your opponent a lot. So,
my question is there a lot of, like, buffing type cards? I know there's some equipment cards.
There's a lot
Yeah.
of them.
There's a lot, yeah, there's a lot. Many cards that buff.
Okay. Because the whole thing that I see on this card is buff it to the max and just pray to God you hit over.
So do you think it's good or bad?
I'm gonna say... It's just gonna 1 TK if it's done right, but I'm gonna say bad.
So, I could be spitballing here. There may or may not be a card called Super Poly that exists. And archetype tend to really like same type and same attributes.
Yeah, so as London is saying...
This is good for two different reasons.
Do not care about that first effect. This thing is never attacking.
Yeah.
There are two cards that exist that make this card crazy. Super Poly, which essentially makes sure you can Super Poly. It
Super
can't be reacted to.
Discard a card. It can't be responded to. You can fuse a monster in your extra deck using materials your opponent controls.
And you and your opponent. It doesn't
Yeah.
need to just be your opponent, but yeah. So this card can wipe out anything. Hero, anything that puts up 2 monsters that have the same type and attribute, super poly that thing away. You now have a body. The second card that makes this card good
There's a
is
few actually that
Dogmatica.
send. There's
Second
a
one,
few.
yeah,
that's,
no.
There's Dogmatica Punishment. I think Ice Dragon's Prison does it.
That banishes. But yeah. Essentially, the bunch of cards that send monsters from your extra deck directly to the graveyard, which would essentially make this a free draw.
Like Dogmatica Punishment, you do that to destroy a monster your opponent controls. So you pop a monster or is it banish?
Pop.
Okay, yeah, you pop a monster they control, and then you get to draw one.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. You mainly super poly this because Dogmatica needs when you destroy your opponent's monster.
You also usually
The
have a
monster
better
you
pick
send-
if you're playing a card for Dogmatica Punishment.
The monster you
Fair
need to
enough,
send
that
is
was-
higher level, but yeah, this card's crazy.
Yeah, I was not thinking of Super Poly.
All right. Here's
Wow.
Musical Sumo Dice Games. It requires 2 level 6 monsters, and at the start of your opponent's battle phase, if this card is in the main monster zone, which is to say, like, there's
Yeah, I know.
there's the main monster zones, there's the extra monster. Roll a 6-sided die and move this card directly to that many 1 to 6 main monster zones clockwise, and if a monster is already in that zone it moves to, attach that monster to this card as material, and if it's an Xyz monster, you transfer its materials to this card. If this effect causes this monster's number of materials to exceed 6, you win the duel. If this card cannot be moved, or the monster in the zone it moves to cannot be attached for some reason, send this
I have no
card
idea
to the
how that
grave.
works.
I genuinely have no idea what could cause that.
So what I'm hearing is it already starts off with two. It already starts off
You
with
get 4 monsters off of this.
Yeah, you have to activate 4. You have to have it land on the monster
And let's
4
say
times.
You're using the
Or-
Xyz deck, right?
or,
so
yeah,
you
you
already
could
have
have-
a couple
you could have
of
Xyz
Xyz on the
monsters.
field. That
So if if it lands on like an Xyz monster with 2 material on it, then that's 3 extra material added onto it actually.
Yeah.
So
But here's the thing. After it moves to a different zone, it cannot be moved back. So the chances of you actually getting that second effect off are slim to none.
Depends on the deck. There's a lot out there that depends on some decks put up 1 big monster and other decks put up like
it'll
a full board.
continue moving clockwise, right? So it'll
yeah. At the end, it'll always keep moving. So like at the end of the phase, it'll just keep moving around until
No, because it says in the main monster zone.
it
And
never
then it-
goes
Yeah, but
into
it
the
would
extra
just-
monster zone. That
it never goes.
yeah.
It will once it reaches the end of one player's extra
Oh,
monster zone. It will then move to your opponent's, and then just keep going in a circle around the board.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
My brain was thinking the zone for something else for a minute. Okay.
Yeah, like imagine the board like a clock, and it just goes around the board.
That's good. Yeah, that changes my opinion. I think that's a decent card.
So, I'm gonna just be honest here. This card is gonna be good for a very funny reason, in my opinion. So, one, it's a 3K defender, so that's one. 2, winning the duel with this card is very funny. So I'm also putting this in funny good. But if you put it at the end of your monster zone, when battle phase rolls around, it will go to your opponent's side. No, yeah, it would go to your opponent's side. And if you get the magical 6, you can board wipe your opponent's monsters, and then it comes back to your side.
It doesn't attach all of them. It only attaches the one it lands on
the one it
directly.
lands.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, all right. So slightly less useful. I still think it's funny to attempt to win with this, though. So I'm gonna put this at funny good.
Yeah.
This is
I like him, but it's funny. It is
Yeah,
funny.
It is
fun.
closer to funny bad.
Understandable. I can see both.
So
Level 6s are really hard to make sometimes.
you could theoretically find some way to do it fairly consistently, but the big problem is that
Yeah, all you gotta do is play Leveling Bug. There you go. Two Eldritch and Leveling Bug.
Yeah, I mean, in theory, lovelier.
that would technically do it. So theoretically, let's say you attach 3 materials, right? And then it goes to your opponent's side of the field. And then they roll a number, and it lands on one of their monsters. Who wins the duel?
The person who made this card.
Yeah.
That is incorrect.
What are you talking about? I
It's
watched this
gonna-
video. I
oh,
watched this
never
video. I watched the
It is-
dualtainment.
It is the person who activates the effect. If
No, you're lying. It's dualtainment. I watched the dualtainment. It's the person who owns musical sumo
I'm
dice
pretty
games.
sure it is the person who activates the effect to move it clockwise.
We will have to playtest this.
I'm like 99% sure that's how
If-
musical sumo dice.
Like, if you activate the effect and it goes to your opponent's side of the field and lands on one of their monsters and has 6 materials on it, you win. But if they are the one who rolls the dice and has it move not to your side of the field and it gets a material on it, they win.
I mean, it does
Okay.
read, you win the duel, which would mean that
If this effect causes this monster to you win the duel. Yeah, now I think about it, yeah, no, it had, yeah.
It's
I
whoever
think the way-
activates the effect.
Yeah, no, I read it. I remember watching
still
it.
think
He
it would
used it
be
from
fun,
his
though.
field. Yeah,
I still
yeah.
think this is a funny card to play.
It is a very funny card.
It is very funny. It is very funny. Can
But
be
if
a
you
reprint.
lose, you can't be mad at yourself if you lose to this card.
This card released in Difo? What? I thought this card was way older than that.
Functionally, the main thing is just it's very, very inconsistent.
But if you win it, if you get it, you know, you're golden.
I still don't know what the monster in the zone it moves to cannot be attached means. I cannot think of a single situation where that is possible.
Unless you count it as an activated effect, like End Punisher, maybe. Like, does this count as a monster's activated effect?
It would be negated.
Maybe.
Well, that's a really good question. I want to test that later.
Yeah. Later we're gonna have to test what actually happens with you. It's funny. It is very funny card.
Okay, here's Astrograph Sorcerer.
Oh boy.
So much text.
So if it's in the Pendulum Zone, during your main phase, you can destroy this card, and if you do, take one Stargazer Magician from your hand or deck, and either place it in your Pendulum Zone or special summon it. You can only use this effect once per turn. Its monster effect. If a card you control is destroyed by battle or card effect, you can special summon this card from your hand, then you can choose one monster in the graveyard, extra deck, or that is banished, and that was destroyed this turn, and add one monster with the same name from your deck to your hand. For reference, when a Pendulum monster is destroyed, it goes face up into the extra deck. You can banish this card you control, plus 4 monsters from your hand, field, and or graveyard, one each with Pendulum Dragon, Xyz Dragon, Synchro Dragon, and Fusion Dragon in their names. Special summon one Supreme King Zark from your extra deck. This is treated as a fusion summon.
Oh boy. There's a lot of questions here.
Ask away.
Okay,
I'm not gonna lie, I spaced out while you're reading that.
The text is on the screen if you want to read it.
so what is Stargazer's Magician's pendulum value?
Yeah, let me go pull up Stargazer Magician.
Because that determines a lot on how useful this is in the Pendulum Zone, if it's a higher Pendulum monster.
I
Well,
got it up. It is
you'd-
1.
Yeah, you'd be destroying the Astrograph to get the Stargazer Magician.
Oh, okay, yeah. It's
Yeah,
still
but
one,
if
though.
if you have another one in Anthem, you basically sat this to get a Stargaze. I think the Stargazer good. I don't remember.
I can read you the effects if you want.
Yes,
So many
what's your-
effects.
Yeah.
The Pendulum effect is if a Pendulum monster you control battles, your opponent cannot activate spell cards until the end of the damage step. Unless you have a Magician card or Odd Eyes card in your other Pendulum Zone, this card's Pendulum scale becomes 4. And then the effect, or the monster effect, once per turn when exactly one other Pendulum monster you control and no other cards is returned to your hand by an opponent's card effect, except during the damage step, you can special summon one monster from your hand with the same name as that returned to the hand.
What is Stargazer's pendulum normally?
Normally it's 1.
So,
But if you don't have a Magician or Odd Eyes in your other Pendulum Zone, it becomes 4.
Okay, so that can be okay. That's an okay one.
I'm gonna be honest here. Okay, next question. Supreme King Zark.
Please don't make me read this card, dude.
Okay, all right. So that can go one of two ways.
It's just a lot of text. It's just a lot of text.
It's a lot of text.
Okay, so with the information, because I don't want to make.
I will say, if Zark is on field, it is good. That is what I will say about Zark.
Okay, thank you. Oh, but you have to get rid of so much. But it's probably the only way to. Is this the only way to make Zark, or is there other ways?
There are other ways to get Zark onto the field.
Okay.
Technically,
what
I think
do
you
you
could do it with
think in here?
polymerization if you somehow are in that game state.
It is a fusion monster. Zark is a fusion monster. Can be fusion summoned.
You are. I want to say it's bad. Like that effect could be good, but 9 times out of 10, by the time you already have all those in the grave, you lost the game, or you have already summoned them.
So I think I have to agree that this card is bad and talk about the pendulum effect. As much as getting Stargazer and having it be the 4 is good, I think 4 is in a very awkward position because you can go 4 to 10 or 1 to 4, and
now,
both of those are not.
I will say 4 is one of the worst pendulum scales you can possibly have.
I will say though, if you need a low cost pendulum, like a if you need one pendulum 1 to 10, this would be good.
Yeah,
But...
if you get it as a 1, but you need what, Odd Eyes or a Magician in the other one?
No, anything in the other
this
side.
one is a 1 if it's in the pendulum scale,
No,
no
I'm
matter
talking
what.
about the
Stargazer
I'm talking about
needs an Odd Eyes or
Stargazer.
Magician pendulum monster in the other scale.
Okay, I think Odd Eyes is a 10, so I think you can have 1 to 10. This card would also do the same thing. But I think if anything, you'd want this as a monster anyways, just because it is a powerhouse. But I think this card is bad.
So both of you saying it's bad?
I'm scared now, but yeah.
This card
Is
incredibly deceptive because there is exactly one sentence on this card that matters. And that is, if a card you control is destroyed by battle or card effect, you can special summon this card from your hand, then choose one monster in the graveyard, extra deck, or that is banished and that was destroyed this turn, and add one monster with the same name from your deck to your hand. There are 2 cards in this game named Heavy Metal Foes Electromite and Beyond the Pendulum.
Oh, no.
crazy cards. We don't have time to get into, but crazy cards.
They destroy your pendulum scales for their effects. You then would be able to special summon Astrograph Sorcerer from hand, and add a monster from your deck to your hand with the same name as one of the ones you destroyed to activate their effects.
Yeah, that's the only part of this card that matters.
Literally
at all.
nothing else on this is anything you're ever using. Zark is good if you can have it on field, but you're never summoning it that way because that's absurd.
Yeah, that's what. So I'm giving myself a half point for
Stargazer
that.
Magician is like fine.
Yeah, I'll
He's
say we get
fine.
a half point for that because like
I'll give you a 0.5.
Yeah, you guys can have a 0.5. That's probably gonna mess with the display. I'm gonna have to like move the numbers over, but whatever, who cares?
It's probably near the end somewhere, right?
There's not too much stuff. Say hello to Jormungandr, Generator Boss of Eternity. Made with 2+ level 9 monsters. You can only control one Jormungandr, Generator Boss of Eternity. This card's original attack and defense become 1,000 times the number of its materials. Quick effect, you can detach one material from this card. Each player draws one card. Then each player that drew attaches one card from their hand or field to this card. You can only use this effect of Jormungandr, Generator Boss of Eternity once per turn.
okay. The main problem I see is the two or more level 9.
I really assumed that it was looking at the camera in this art. Sorry, unrelated.
It does not. If you have, I will say here, Generator does not have Generator's gimmick. Generator's like a boss.
Generator's gimmick is that it's like an MMO raid boss bit, and it has a field spell that just summons guys.
Its problem is not making level 9s. It can put a lot of it can put level 9s on field.
Hey, look, it's a reptile monster.
Because it says Oh shit! I mean, maybe that
You
one
can't.
card
It's not. It's not in the normal deck. It's in the extra deck because it's an
I
Xyz
know.
monster.
I know.
And generators are not reptile. Well, there are various types.
I think this is the only reptile.
I
one.
want to say, see that effect is really good because that you can detach material. Each player draws a card, then the puts the drew attack card attaches one card to it. So pretty much every time you use that, it's getting stronger, right?
It is getting stronger.
When it
It
comes
is.
in, if you only do the 2 level 9s, it's only 1,000, 2,000.
2000.
And by the point you have this on the field, unless you get it turn 1, they're just gonna kill it, right? They're gonna attack over it before it can get that beefy.
That is a way to see it.
But another thing though too is if they only hit it by 1,000, detach a thing, then you put 2 new ones on, you destroy it. Like they go, I don't know. It sounds like it's really good, but I have a feeling it's not as good as it sounds.
What do you think, London?
Well, I have an answer. So, I think if I answer,
just gonna say
it might sway Caden. So,
I'm gonna say it's good.
okay, so I might be wrong, and this might be bad. This card is bad. I mean, yeah, it's nice to get the free card draw, but you're also giving it to your opponent. And
But
since
you're also taking cards too.
Both players
Yes.
Both players go even in card advantage on that effect.
Yeah.
Yes, but the issue I have is, let's say they have a really bad hand, and you give them that card into a very powerful combo piece. They can just discard something unimportant. It's not that card they drew gets attached. And
It's
again,
theoretically
like
true.
Kaden
That
said,
would be a ruling's nightmare if it said that, but
then again, its main thing is also that it would just get wiped. There's no real protection. I don't know if generators give themselves protection too much. If they don't, this card is pretty bad because they can just use most monsters to get rid of this at the very beginning. I think it has a purpose, but in the context, I think it's probably pretty bad.
I think, see, conceptually, really fun card. I would love to play this just because.
You'd like Generator. I knowing you can, you would love to play Generator.
I think it'd be fun. I'm a tokens kind of person with Magic. This is essentially just.
This deck makes a lot of tokens.
Yeah.
I will say that.
I
Off stage makes tokens.
think it'd be fun. So that's why I think it also can be pretty good. But I'm sticking with good. But
Okay.
I can see where London's coming from.
so forgive me, Dyer, but I'm gonna
Yeah.
have to navigate this one in a very specific way though, because making Jormungandr using 2 level 9 monsters, or even more than 2, is bad. However, this is a little unfair because there is a card. How the hell do you spell this?
Levitin. They didn't have Levitin for well.
Hopefully that's close enough. Yeah, it is.
I mean, another big, besides Levitin, this is also, Yu-Gi-Oh! Is a card game of 1-card combos. So,
I mean, Generator Boss Stage makes this, but
yeah, Generator Boss Stage makes, but like, it is a deck of 1-card combos, so you're essentially giving, while it is in theory, you're making your opponent go even on card advantage,
I
you're
will
still giving them an
actually
extra
say
draw.
Generator's gimmick is making your opponent draw. They
Yeah,
they activate stuff by making the opponent draw cards. So
Okay, all right.
Yeah, Levitin, you can only control 1 Levitin Generator Balls of Shadows. Monsters your opponent controls lose 1,000 attack and defense, nobody cares. You can quick effect attribute it and special summon a non-fairy Generator Xyz monster from your extra deck, then attach cards from any field and or graveyards to that special summoned monster as material up to the number of materials this had. So, you just make Levitin with 5 monsters and then...
Yeah.
And then, yeah. But Jormungandr on itself is, and the way it was initially supposed to be made, is
bad.
rough. It is bad.
The original way it worked was not good.
Even with Levitin, it's rough. Because I mean,
with Levitin, it's basically a board wipe, and you get all
It's
the other
rough.
stuff. If you activate its effect, you can then summon like a Har from deck, which gives you a negate. So, you know, but
The draw can be rough because you can give your opponent a card they needed,
Yeah.
and Jormungand Generator, since it's a theme of bosses, you're essentially giving up cards that could be doing good things
I
like
mean, again,
Har
if you
or
if you play your turns right, you can activate the effect. Both people draw one, attach one, and then you could summon a Har from deck and make the tokens to make Har work. So you're not
in
giving up
theory.
that much.
For the most part, though,
And if that
it's
one
kinda
card
rough.
was the big difference, that you can negate it. So it's like it depends. Like
trying so hard not to get canceled right now by Generator to Twitter.
overall, the card is not very good.
It's
I will
subpar.
say, if terraforming was at 3,
It really requires you to have
That's a bummer because this card sounds really fun.
I will
You should
say,
play-
in
play
generator,
Generator.
it is very fun.
Yeah, you should
Because,
play Generator.
Again, if you make it with Leviton, you basically
Is
get to just
Generator
attach your opponent's
expensive?
entire. No, Generator is so cheap.
Generator is
If I went
so
to the
cheap.
event with Generator, do you think I would actually have a chance of doing anything? Or would I die?
100%.
You would
I-
absolutely
100%.
have a chance. Yeah.
The most expensive card right now is Lopter, who's like the Loki of, who's like the
It's like, what,
starter.
$5
Lopter.
bucks?
Yeah, Lopter has not had any reprints, which is really annoying. But
Cool. At some point,
He's
on
$10.
Omega, you guys are gonna have to help me build this.
Yeah, for sure.
actually, no, it's like $5. Yeah, you're right. Average price like $5. So you
I'm
can
not
get a
worried
place
about
of these
the
for
price.
15.
I just, cause like I said, I don't want to be the asshole that shows up to this
Yeah. This is
essentially
not meta.
local kind of thing.
This is off
and-
meta, but
Wipe the board with.
It is a very
whatever
fun
it's
deck.
called.
it is
Um,
very fun.
okay.
The most expensive card in the archetype is, yeah, it's Lopter. It's Lopter who makes
All right, I already know what this is. This is funny.
Yeah,
This is a funny card.
Yu-Gi-Oh! Friendship.
I've seen this a bunch.
Offer
It's
your
a funny
opponent a handshake. If they accept your handshake, each player's life points become half the combined life points of both players. If you have Unity in your hand and show it to your opponent, they must accept the handshake.
So, yeah, this is funny. I mean,
It is just a fun.
Yeah, there's no debating here.
yeah,
So the
there's
concept-
not a debate.
The concept of this card is already funny enough, but there's some lore here.
There's lore.
So there was a point on Reddit where a bunch of people were trying to figure out, okay, if I activate Yu-Gi-Oh! Friendship and I have Unity in my hand, then my opponent is forced to shake my hand. So if I just make my hand really disgusting, they'll surrender instead of shaking my
Yeah.
hand.
So that people be so
And then
in theory, you're
Konami
like
said-
lick your hand, and then you'd force your opponent to shake it, and if they refuse to shake it, they'd lose the duel.
And then Konami said,
Because it would be an
no,
illegal
no,
game state.
no. You don't need
So
need to
inevitably-
shake their hand.
I think stop hearing.
Oh.
Okay,
Yeah,
sorry, I couldn't hear you for a
So,
second. Yeah.
so Konami said, no, 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 you're fine. You don't need to actually shake their hand. You need to accept the concept of a handshake.
Yeah, the concept. So that stopped the. I'm going to cover my hand in shit and then make you shake my hand.
I have,
The
I've
Come on,
been
guys, I
tempted-
gotta go to the
tempted-
bathroom. Walk
So-
back. All right, take some cards in one hand. I play this. Shake my hand.
So I have a
I've
dumb-
been tempted to write a We Didn't Start the Fire parody about Yu-Gi-Oh! And if I do end up doing that, concept of a handshake will absolutely be a line in that.
We're in Yu-Gi-Oh! We have to make concepts of handshakes.
So I have one question. I'm trying to think of how to word this. Nope, I've lost it.
Also,
Go
fun
ahead.
fact about Yu-Gi-Oh! Friendship: this is one of the few cards in the game that just has anime characters on it.
Yeah, there's very few that actually have anime characters. It's like a list of like 20 cards. It's
this
very
card,
small.
Unity, that creepy little punk, Performapal Duelist
Photon Hand.
Extraordinaire. Yeah, that one.
Photon hand. Give me that fucking monster. Some XE, some ranks. There's a couple. It's very few though. Very small. What are the Utopias? I think
Yeah, I think so.
Zexal Force. I think has Very few, but accepting concept of handshakes, that's a thing you'll never have to deal with because no one's gonna play Yu-Gi-Oh! Friendship.
It is very funny though. So you might see it if you end up in a sub replay Friday.
What's next? Oh, we got transaction rollback. Pay half your life points, then target one normal trap in your opponent's graveyard, except transaction rollback. This effect becomes that card's activation effect. You can banish this card from your graveyard and pay half your life points, then target one normal trap in your graveyard, except transaction rollback. This effect becomes that card's activation effect. You can only use one transaction rollback effect per turn and only once per turn.
I'm gonna say that.
Yeah, I mean,
That sounds really bad.
unless your opponent has a really good normal trap, or you have a really good normal trap, it's not worth half your life points to get it back, in my opinion, ever.
Unless
I mean-
you're playing like major life gain, it's 16,000 life points.
Yeah, true. But even, but I'm gonna have to just stay with bad. I could totally be wrong, and I'll still be fine with that.
Yeah, if there's a good reason why this is good, I'll be accepting that we were wrong. It's bad.
Well,
So
Okay,
this card
fair
is
enough.
fucking ridiculous. First of all,
it is crazy.
you are never activating that first effect. You don't care.
That card, you could forget it exists. If this card didn't have that effect, wouldn't matter. You
What-
are, yeah.
So, in practice, what you are doing with this is fucking evil. So,
Penis.
there is a card. What is it? Is it
Beatrice.
Beatrice? Yeah, that allows you to send. Is it just normal traps?
Anything. Send anything. Just send
is it
anything
really
from the
just
graveyard.
Send anything.
Send any card from your deck to the graveyard at quick effect speed, as on NXTs.
Insane.
So you send this, and then on your opponent's turn, you send another card, another trap, any trap you want. And essentially, this card can be, and notice it says activation effect, not cost.
So let's
So-
say you send a card called, I don't know, how about Eradicator Epidemic Virus? A card that
Which-
reads, it has a somewhat restrictive cost, right? You have to destroy a monster you control. It's what, a fiend monster you control with a certain attack value?
Dark Monster.
Dark
Dark Monster,
Monster,
2,500 attack or higher.
So, you know, that's kind of awkward to do normally. Well, who cares? It's the activated effect. You don't need to pay the cost. So, and
Its effect is absurd. It's literally, the effect is choose either spell or traps, look at your opponent's hand, destroy every card of your
and then
declared
for the
declared
next
type
three
from their
turns,
hand.
if they draw or add one of those, it gets destroyed too.
So essentially, you just lock your opponent out of half their cards, and that's not even one of the worst cards you can end off this. The worst one you can is Ghost Meets Girl, a Shiranui story.
Basically just says skip your opponent's turn, let's be honest.
Yeah, just skip your opponent's turn.
Another card that is normally not balanced, I still want that shit banned, but
Yeah.
that is normally not an issue because you have to play it in a bad archetype. Well, oops, no cost.
No cost. You just get to play it. This card is insane. It got printed so recently, and it has shot any deck that can make this into a level of meta contention. We're in Tier 0 format. It's not the best, but, like, it's crazy.
The second we are out of this Tier 0 format, people are going to be so mad that this card exists.
It is. I'm already mad this exists. There are versions of Gold Pride that are combined with Vampire just to make transaction rollback be a transaction rollback, and it makes me so angry that a good archetype has been reduced to Floodgate Turbo.
Gold Pride has like one top, dude.
It has one top. It's so fun, man. But yeah, transaction rollback, absurd, utterly absurd.
Okay, all right.
Should not have been printed. I'm arguing. Should just not have been printed.
Yeah,
Not have been printed.
I mean, alternatively, the other cards that enable you to do stupid shit with this shouldn't have been printed.
Yeah, Beatrice is absurd, but
If it only had that first effect, this would maybe be like a niche tech pick in the Labyrinth mirror, but
in other chances, and there are other cards. Once Ghost Meets Girl and EEV are banned, there are going to be other cards. There's the main
We've seen
balancing
this
point
happen
of trap
before.
cards.
we've seen this happen before, where they print a card and then they start banning other things that enable that card instead of banning the card that is causing the problems.
Yeah.
That being said,
The
EEV and Ghost Meets Girl should probably be banned anyway, so...
The main balancing point of traps is that they're slow. You can't activate them the same turn. Once you give the ability to activate, once you give the ability to activate these traps at quick effect speed on the turn on any turn, completely can bust so many of these.
You can use this every turn.
Theoretically, yeah.
Yeah, if you
It
can shuffle it
banishes
back.
itself from the graveyard, so, you know, but...
But you're gonna be playing 3 of these probably. If you have,
Yeah.
there's a good chance you're gonna be playing 3 of these. So at that point, you just win.
Here is
Yeah.
Hot Red Dragon Archfiend King Calamity. This is a level... God, what
Say
the
that
hell
3
is that
times
level?
fast.
Hot Red Dragon Archfiend King Calamity. Hot Red Dragon Archfiend King Calamity. Hot Red Dragon Archfiend King Calamity. Close.
That is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. It's a level 12
level
synchro.
12.
Requires 2 tuners and 1 non-tuner Dark Dragon Synchro monster. When this card is synchro summoned, you can activate this effect. For the rest of this turn, your opponent cannot activate cards or effects on the field. Your opponent cannot activate cards or effects in response to this effect's activation. If this card destroys a monster by battle, inflict damage to your opponent equal to that monster's original attack. If this card in its owner's possession is destroyed by an opponent's card, you can target 1 level 8 or lower Dark Dragon Synchro monster in your graveyard, special summon it.
I'm gonna. I want to say it's bad.
So for the record, there's like a whole series of Dark Dragon Synchro monsters that are like Red Dragon Archfiend. With a bunch
Yeah,
of birds
this
stacked
is,
onto either end of them.
Red Dragon Archfiend is our cards used by, what's his name?
I don't remember.
He was the Saito Kaiba of 5Ds. Atlas.
Oh, I know who you're
Jack
talking- I know who
Atlas.
you're
Jack
talking
Atlas,
about.
yeah.
Yeah.
Jack Atlas, yeah. I own this card, actually.
So, what did you say?
I think it's bad.
Okay.
Just because of you can only have 3 things summon it, and they have to equal out to 12. That can be a headache to try to get to work.
So, let's just say I may or may not have already faced this card, and it may or may not be one of the most hated cards I've played against. This card is good.
Yeah.
It's a permanent negate until end of turn.
Let me
I
go-
mean,
let me just go pull
you
up
can't even
Crimson
stop it
Dragon
from
real
being
quick.
summoned. So
For the longest
I mean,
time, this card was fine. I would argue for the longest time this card was bad. This was a
Yeah, I
bad
would-
card for a
yep.
long time. Mainly due to the effect that it only stops your opponents from playing cards until the end of the turn. So for the longest time, you would make this on your own turn, and your opponent can activate effects in response. It stopped battle tricks at best. But then a card got released back in, what was it, Duelist Nexus?
Talking about Crimson Dragon, that was Dune.
Yeah, that was Dune. Yeah, back in Duelist Nexus, which we don't
Quick
have to
effect,
explain
you
it.
can target 1 level 7 or higher synchro monster on the field, except Crimson Dragon. Return this card to the extra deck, and if you do, special summon 1 dragon synchro monster from your extra deck with the same level as the targeted monster. This is treated as a synchro summon.
So you could just do it to itself.
No, because it says
no.
except Crimson Dragon.
Just get a
But-
level. Yeah.
You know what? There is an archetype, in fact, that enables this particularly well.
Itself? I mean, a lot of cards enable this, but I mean, a
mean-
lot of.
I was talking about Centurion.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah,
I mean,
right.
basically anything.
Yes, Centurion.
Centurion
boy.
will make its level 12 synchro and Crimson Dragon. Well, it'll use, because it has a spell that lets it synchro summon on the opponent's turn. So it'll use that to make Crimson Dragon, and then it'll use Crimson Dragon to make this, and then the opponent just doesn't get to play the game.
Yeah.
And it's not the only one. This card, ever since Crimson Dragon released, if you can make a level 12 synchro monster, you're no longer making your level 12 synchro monsters anymore. You're making this red fucker. This card needs to be banned a long time ago.
Calamity.
I swear, if they ban Crimson Dragon instead of this,
It's the worst. It is. I mean, not worse. It's crazy good. Just, I hate it.
Fuck this guy. Get him out of here. I don't want to see his face.
It's bad. Oh, it's bad. I mean, it's
Oh.
good, but like,
It makes non-games. Okay, say hello to 5-headed Link Dragon. To make this card, you need 5 monsters. Must be Link summoned. Must be Link summoned.
For
If
the
this
record,
card is Link
just
summoned,
in case you forgot or didn't know, Link summoning is just you need to have that many monsters.
yeah, you just need to have those monsters. Link summoning is like the simplest mechanic. If this card is Link summoned using Dark, Earth, Water, Fire, Wind attributes, you can destroy all monsters your opponent controls. Cannot be destroyed by battle with a Dark, Earth, Water, Fire, or Wind monster. Unaffected by other cards' effects. Once per turn during your opponent's end phase, you must banish 5 cards from your graveyard
This
face
is
down.
not optional.
Optional. Or send this card to the graveyard.
mhm.
So, for the record, it's saying that because the only way that you aren't banishing 5 cards from your graveyard face down is if you don't have cards in your graveyard to banish.
Yeah. So if you don't have 5 in your graveyard, you'd have to send this card to the graveyard.
But otherwise, you are forced to.
I want to say good, but I know if I say good, it's probably gonna be bad for some obscure reason.
You're gonna be like, well, if I say good, it's gonna be bad, and if I say bad, it's gonna be
It's
good.
gonna be good.
Because this card can if you do it, summon it with the attributes, the board wipes your opponent, and it can't, and then you just kind of guarantee 5,000 damage if you do it.
Let's see. What can it even be destroyed by battle with? A light monster?
Yeah, I can't.
Yeah, light.
I mean,
Or a
Good
luck,
divine monster, theoretically.
Slifer time. But I mean, to be fair, when are you going to be destroying
does
up a
have
battle
5,000
anyway?
attack
It
points.
has 5,000 attack. That's one of the
But
highest attacks in the
Also,
game.
it's unaffected by other cards' effects, so you know.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say it's good. I'm gonna just say it's good.
Okay, so I did look up the other card that is this, which is just regular
Yeah,
five-headed
the classic
dragon.
5-headed dragon.
So it is an upgrade to it, but there's one thing I'm very worried about. One, if you don't have 5 cards, it dies. I mean, you'll have 5 for sacrificing him, and since it no longer requires specifically dragon monsters, it's a lot better than 5-headed. I still think it's bad though, because it is still you have to have 5 monsters to link summon of different types. Which I'm not saying is
Technically,
impossible.
you can just make it with
but-
5 monsters, because the only thing that's conditional on
Yeah.
the 5 types is destroying all cards your opponent controls.
Yeah, but that's kind of the important part. If you get rid of that, then it does a whole lot of nothing other than being a 5,000, which there's probably more of, or
It's like
a
a
buff
towers or whatever.
It's like a tower.
So I think you want to try and go for the 5 effects, which are not the simplest to do because a lot of archetypes like one single attribute. So I'm gonna put this in bad.
So I will say, this is one of those flashy combo
I knew it.
replay cards.
Sub replay Fridays, dualtainment.
Yeah.
This is one of those cards that people will show you a cool combo video on how they made it, and it's like a 3-card setup.
5
Yeah,
is a lot.
5 is a lot.
5 is your entire monster zone.
Yeah, it is.
Having specifically 1 dark, 1 earth, 1 water, 1 fire, and 1 wind is very difficult.
Especially when I think the second.
There's
or maybe
also a
even
better link monster you can make with those materials.
True. And also, you're missing out on basically the second, or arguably you could say first, most used type, and that is light. There are
Light is
a ton of light monsters. So many good light monsters that, like, you just can't use here for that.
The banishing cards from your graveyard face down really doesn't matter. If you summon this, you've won.
If you summon this game, yeah, you basically won. But at that point, there's other even good Link 4s. There's better Link 4s you can make with this. Access Code,
Just fucking-
Apollosa.
Yeah, at this point, just fucking make a rival Cybers.
Yeah, a Rival Cyber's Agnister is essentially this card, but better.
So let me just make sure, so I can give myself a bonus point in my mind. This is better than regular 5-headed.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
For one, it's not in the main deck.
That's true.
No, 500 Dragon was a fusion. I thought
Was it?
500
Oh,
was
yeah,
a
it was.
fusion.
fusion.
It was. It just doesn't have an
Except-
effect.
Yeah, and it's also
It
again
does,
near
it does,
impossible
but
to
it's
make.
Sorry, I was
just
thinking of
like, can't be
10,000
destroyed
Dragon.
effect. Yeah, 500 does have its effect of it can't be destroyed by I think the same exact thing, and I think that's it. It's the only thing it does.
Yeah, this is functionally a card that's just not very good because in the position where you can use it effectively, you could just do other stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, say hello to my boy
It's
Beckus.
Okay, this is a funny one.
The effect of Beckus, you give up 1,000 point of life scores. You can choose a can from the deck as you like. This ability can just used in your main bout, then the score of the life will start from 6,000 point. What do you think about
Okay.
Beckus?
Yeah, that's definitely a funny one.
I didn't realize
Okay,
we were
so-
here yet.
So yeah, this is funny, but I have to ask a question. Please tell me that this is an actual card
I
that was
fucking
printed.
wish.
Oh,
I
I
wish
do
this
own
was
this.
real.
I own this card though.
Yeah, Beckus is funny. I think in its context it would be funny bad. I mean, I can't from the deck.
Try to comprehend what the fuck this does.
Okay, so
Jacob and I did.
You give up 100 life points, right? Which is standard.
1,000.
1,000 life points. And you can you
can
can
choice a can. As
So
you
it's-
can.
So I'm assuming you can pick a card from your deck as you like. So you just pick a card from your deck. This ability can just used in your game. So it's used in your main phase. Then your life point will start from the 6,000. I mean, that's
You actually
definitely-
got that basically right, and also it's no once per turn. If this
So,
card was
what
real,
what we
Where is
what
the
we
once per
believe,
turn?
what we believe this is trying to say, is that you can pay 1,000 life points, and add a card from your deck to your hand. This card can only be activated in your main phase, and then we assume that the last part of that means that each player's life points become 6,000.
there's my Beckus, I own it.
Which, like,
Yeah.
what why are you paying 1,000 life points then? you go down to 7,000 and then
Immediately go back to go down to 6, and then yeah, this would be one of the craziest cards ever printed if it was
it'd be
understandable.
or maybe it means that each player's maximum life points becomes 6,000, which I don't want to figure out what the hell that means.
Also, essentially what this means is it adds one card, any card you want from your deck to your hand, any card you want, you draw the out basically, and
So-
it burns your opponent for 2,000
So
life
the bit
points.
the bit here is that you activate Beckus, and then you grab Beckus, and then you activate Beckus, and then you grab Beckus. And you activate Beckus and search whatever, probably like Toon Table of Contents, right? Because that's another card that can search itself from the deck. So then,
With this and Toon Table Contents, you can play what
let's see. So you'd
That's
probably go
3
in Toon
free
Table of
cards.
Contents into
So-
Toon. What's the other one?
Bookmark.
Yeah. So you're going for like a.
You're playing a 33 card deck. With this card, you're playing a 33 card deck.
So is Beckus? Are we assuming Beckus is a spell here or a trap
Yes.
card?
It is definitely I think it is a spell. I believe. My guess is it's a spell. Who knows with this
Maybe
background?
it's a skill.
Who knows?
What do you think, Caden? Do you think this is a spell or a trap card?
It's got the purple like trap card.
If it's a trap card, it would not be as good. It'd still be crazy.
It would
be
still just say
funny.
add any card from your deck to your hand, then burn
Oh,
your opponent for 2,000.
Hear me out. Hear me out. If Konami actually watches this, please print
If
Beckus
Konami
exactly like this.
printed Beckus,
Please print Beckus.
Please print
Please.
Beckus. Make it this exact card and explain nothing. Just throw it in one
So
day
there
and just say,
is-
yeah, this exists.
Beckus is part of a set of 4 bootleg cards that all have different DM era anime characters on them. However,
Like-
the others are only in German.
And also, we don't think any of them got localized to America. Like, the only card
The only card out of the set that I have ever seen in English is Beckus.
I own a Beckus. I have it in my. It's one of my most prized possessions.
You own a Beckus?
I own a Beckus. I found it at a yard sale down in Kentucky.
How much did you pay for it?
It was in a big bulk box of Yu-Gi-Oh and Pokemon cards, and I paid $5. I also have a bunch of other fake cards that are equally insane, but they're less funny than Beckus.
I fucking love Beckus. Why is Pegasus looking at the...
I love this card so much.
Like, why is Pegasus looking at the camera? Why is he drawn like he's on the cover of a how to draw anime book? Why is it called Beckus? Why is it number 396? Where's the other 395 of them?
It is insane, just insane. Also, I want to say the whole name of the card, but I do own a Lava Golem whose name is Rock Corrosion Devil Love Fake, whose type is Heal. So, take with that as you will. Also, this is just a thing for you guys and also anyone watching the videos. Look up Yu-Gi-Oh! Fake cards in your free time. They're insane.
Like, Pokemon and Magic fake cards, from what I can tell, try to pass off as if they're real. Yu-Gi-Oh! Cards Yu-Gi-Oh! Fakes just don't for some reason, or at least they didn't.
Okay.
Like,
they will try and make anything sound utterly deranged.
There's a set of 3 balls for the Egyptian gods. It's like Slifer, Obelisk, and Ra Sphere Mode, except the Ra Sphere Mode is different from actual Sphere Mode. And I've never been as far as I can tell, no one has ever uploaded a clear image of them. They seem to only properly exist on like Wish.com Yu-Gi-Oh! Tin listings.
It's
so
Yu-Gi-Oh! Fakes are amazing. They're beautiful.
I'm putting out a bounty of a shout out, so no one's gonna do it. But seriously, I really want to know what those cards
If
say.
you can send us a clear image of Raw Sphere Mode, not Raw Sphere Mode, forget about Raw Sphere Mode. You can send a Slifer Sphere Mode or Obelisk Sphere Mode. I will shout out.
You know what? Hey guys, I've got great news. So I may or may not have looked up Beckus, and I may or may not have found the other cards, and a German may or may not have translated them for us.
Oh!
Oh, okay, now I'm curious.
Alright, you know what, let me send the other 3. You guys, you 2 can read one and I'll read one because I found it. So, you can
put these.
Kaiba, Joey, or...
Let's see, so the Kaiba card is labeled Seahorse. At the beginning of the game, you can choose your tribe. After that, your monsters from your land, your hand, and your deck will become the tribe you've chosen. You start with 4 cards. At the end, when you have more than 4 cards in your hand, you can only hold 4 cards and the others loose.
So to clarify, now that Kaiba's been read, this is translated with the broken grammar still intact. So he's like, the grammar's a bit off, but let me just translate real quick.
Let's see.
Go ahead.
Yeah, go for it, Dylan.
You gotta read Joey. I'll read Yugi. You can read Joey.
Okay, yeah. I read Yugi. Yugi's card is called Game.
Oh no, you skipped Joey.
Wait, I say Joey? Oh, I think you said, okay. I'll try and do a Joey accent. Joey Cod's name is no real, in parentheses, German words. So I guess it's simply Edonoti. Effect reads, every time a monster that you control every time you control
comma space
the attack points of those monsters will be increased by 800 points, and the monsters that you control can't attack in this round of calling. What does it mean?
All right, so now we go into to the main man himself, Yugi's card. Yugi's card is called Game. Your war field becomes dark. Increase the attack and defense points of the Devil Dash and Magicianal Dash Tribe by 200, and lower the attack/defense of Angel Dash Tribe by 200. You can sacrifice an animal to call
the man with dark magic.
At the preparation of your turn, you will lose 300
Okay. I want to try to decipher these. Okay, so the Kaiba one. It's called Seahorse, whatever. So at the beginning of the game, I guess at the start of the duel,
at the start of the duel, you name a...
You can choose your tribes. You choose a monster type.
Yeah.
After that, monsters from your land. I assume it means monsters on your side of the field, in your hand, and in your deck become the chosen monster type. I guess you uniquely start the game with 4 cards. Maybe these are like skills.
So here are the
yeah,
cards.
there they are. So maybe these are like skills, I guess, right? And then I guess in the end phase, if you have more than 4 cards in your hand, basically your hand size limit is 4.
The other's loose. I don't know what you mean. The other's loose.
The other's loose. So the Joey card.
Joey-
Every time a monster that you control battles, the attack points of those monsters. So every time a monster that you control battles, its attack points are increased by 800 points, and monsters that you control can't attack in this round of calling.
I don't think this card functions. I don't think this card functions.
Maybe you activate it and that's like a lingering effect, but you can't attack that turn.
Yeah, it's gotta be
If
you
that's
can't
how it works,
attack
then
that
yeah.
turn.
Okay,
then we
and then
get into
Yugi's.
Yugi's
This
card.
is actually the most
boy.
comprehensible one.
Surprisingly,
so
but
your war
it is
field
bad.
becomes dark. Thankfully, they explain what that means. So it increases the attack and defense points of, I'm assuming, Fiend and Spellcaster type monsters by
Yeah.
200, and lowers the attack and defense of, again, I'm assuming Fairy type monsters by 200. And then you contribute a monster to summon Dark Magician. At the preparation of, I guess during your standby phase, you lose 300 life points.
I'm gonna be honest, I prefer to think of it as while you're playing the game, you pick up a squirrel and then you like put on it and you sacrifice it to Dark Magician.
The phrase that you can sacrifice an animal to call the man with dark magic is so
Walks outside, walks out here with a squirrel. I summon thee, Dark Magician.
I call forth the man with dark magic. This is what Christian parents thought Yu-Gi-Oh was.
Yes, that's exactly what it is.
So I'm assuming when they say animal, we're talking like beast.
Beast.
monster.
Yeah,
I think
beast
it's
warrior.
I think they're just really bad at wording and just meant monster.
I can agree with that. It's either animal.
That could also be it.
I don't know, but
Okay, tell me.
Oh yes, I'm gonna sacrifice this very well human monster to summon Dark Magician. But it says animal.
so
Fuck
that's-
you, he's
that's-
an animal.
I guess you would
That's,
have to be able to summon from deck, because otherwise, like, what's the point?
No,
I
no,
guess
it lets you,
Dark
it lets you
Magician's a
summon
2
them from
tribute.
outside of your deck.
And in case
Let-
anyone
let's see,
noted,
summon them from your sideboard.
in
And
case anyone
it's
was
not.
curious,
Let's be completely clear here. It's not obvious what their what type of card these are. Kaiba's is ritual blue, Joey's is yellow, Yugi's
Normal
is
monster
red,
yellow.
and Pegasus
knockoff Slifer red.
is trap
Like a
card
trap
purple.
card.
Except it's not. It's not.
It's not trap
if
card
you
purple.
actually look at it, the lighting on this scan is weird. If you actually look at it,
It is purple.
it's like a dark purple.
So,
Kind
so
of
it's
the
more
color of
a fusion.
obelisk.
It's more of a fusion.
I think
So,
Beckus is the best card here, right? Like Beckus is crazy. Beckus is
crazy.
still the
So-
best card
so
here.
fun fact. Beckus had no translation exactly like Joey's, so it is just Beckus in English.
It's just Beckus.
So yeah, so that's Seahorse,
Seahorse, Edonoti, Game, and Beckus.
Beckus.
Beckus
There you go,
Huntley
folks.
and Beckus.
I did my research for this.
I didn't know
These
anyone
cards
had
are beautiful.
translated them.
Yeah, I just it was a Reddit thing, so it's scary, but we navigated through it.
Found it. On to
Just
the next.
Adam.
Back to the.
Well,
Back to
that.
the actual video now.
That's the last one. That's the last card.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that is the last card. Cool.
So let's go over to my score sheet.
Were you keeping
Kane.
track?
Yes, I was keeping track. At least I think I might have missed a couple times. I think I'm 99% sure though. Kane, you got 13.5 points. London, you got 17.5.
Yeah.
Figure that he plays Yu-Gi-Oh more than I do.
He does play.
This is
Kane,
true.
you did a pretty good job. You did a pretty good
You
job
did
for
great,
not
you did
knowing
great.
many
So,
of these cards.
A couple of, I'm gonna be honest at this very end point. Yeah, a couple of these I did know they added, like Jormungandr, and I think that's really it. I think I only really knew Jormungandr.
I think we
Of
kind
course,
of just assumed you would have forgotten.
Yeah.
King Calamity was I've already faced it, so I understood what it did. What's the other card? There was one more you said to stay quiet on. I can't remember what it is anymore.
Garura, maybe? maybe.
Oh,
or
yeah,
no, it
no,
was,
it
it was
wasn't
towards the front.
Garura,
It was
it
towards
was
the
scroll up.
front.
It was like near the beginning.
Link
Oh,
Rebo.
Link Rebo.
Link Rebo, yeah. it was Link
Yeah,
Rebo.
I knew it was in the ban list, so I knew it had to be good.
I know it was in the ban list too. Okay, I heard you guys talking about
The ban list,
some
yeah.
Link monster got banned.
Yeah,
And
it was Link
like, it
Rebo.
was this fucking insane Link monster got banned, and I'm sitting over here like, well, they were talking about it, and the effects.
Now I will say,
really
if Beckus was real,
If Beckus was real, he'd be on the ban list
if
in
Beckus was
instant.
real,
it would be,
So-
be interesting. Say
Lila Rap would maybe be playable. The burn cards would be maybe playable because it decreased your opponent's
Yeah.
life points by 6,000 to 6,000 right away.
The good, the bad, the funny.
the good, the bad, the funny. Yeah.
So can we show Kaden the other two types of cards that I thought were in this real quick? AK the funny big monsters that you can only have one at a time.
What monsters?
The kaijus.
Oh, he knows what
I
kaijus are.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
I
Okay.
played
Yeah.
Kaijus.
Yeah, he played Gaijus.
Oh,
Played 'em
okay.
for a
Never
good
mind
while
then.
there.
But I think that's a good point. This is, I guess, was a good like kind of run through for you, Caden, of like general modern Yu-Gi-Oh deck building principles of. It's a lot of one card combos and life. It's like who's on is it anyways? The cards are crazy and the life points don't matter. I'm the only one who gets that joke here.
Yeah.
The only
But
life
hey,
point that
this-
matters is the last one.
Yeah. So this will be very useful, I think. And another thing that's up and coming at a point in time.
Why are you playing Koi?
Yeah. We'll say it now. Tune in for the 4HK presents Progression.
Yeah, we're doing a progression series.
Don't sue us, Simo.
He's not gonna. You know how many people do progression series?
I
That's
know
part of
it's
the
a
reason it
running
took us
joke.
so long to do it.
So yeah. Do we even have an official like title we can call this? Other than
I think we're just calling it 4HK presents Progression. Or 4HK's Progression.
Yeah.
You know,
So
4HK
this
progression
is
series,
very
something
good
like
to
that.
know for when we eventually get Beckus in our packs.
Beckus.
Beckus.
Add a
I
segment
wonder
on the
if
wheel
anybody's
that's the
put
Beckus.
on the dueling book.
Gotta
Well,
love
Beckus
finding
slice,
rough
you
German
get one game-
translation on Reddit to find Beckus.
Beckus
Get one
Slice,
game
you
that
get
lets
to-
you have
just
Beckus.
You just get any card from the last set.
Place of Starlight Rare.
I'm tempted to do that now.
I actually agree. I think that'd be really funny.
Beckus.
Sorry guys, you can't buy Beckus on TCG Player.
No.
You can probably buy Beckus on eBay though. Hold up. Beckus.
Beckus.
Fuck. Beckus Yu-Gi-Oh.
That is yeah.
Yeah, Beckus is gonna get you a whole lot of nothing.
Yu-Gi-Oh card prices. This is not Beckus.
Just type in Beckus, see if it's on there.
Beckus.
I looked it up on eBay. I am not seeing Beckus. I'm seeing other very weird cards, but no
Kasha.
Beckai.
Alright, guys. You guys are going onto eBay. I don't know what's wrong with you. It's clearly Amazon. It's an Amazon
It's an
thing.
Amazon.
Beckus. Wait, maybe it's in this guy's old Yu-Gi-Oh binder.
So bad news, guys. Beckus is not in here, unless I spelled Beckus wrong. No, Beckus. Oh wait, no, I did spell Beckus wrong.
Nobody's spelling Beckus. Or nobody's selling Beckus.
Again,
no
one of
one
those
is spelling
price
Beckus.
cards.
By the way, I would like you. Is that Link?
There was a
Karibo?
person in
No,
that
it's
one
not
MBT
Link
Twitter
Karibo.
thread
What
who
is
had like a
this?
full binder of Beckus.
Lin Garibo.
I love Lingaribo.
Lingaribo's cool. Not Linkaribo, but I think we
Not
should call it here.
Lingaribo.
Yeah, Lingaribo. It's a different thing. No,
Oh,
it's good.
apparently that comes-
Also,
that comes
it's a
up when you
huge
search up
scorpion with
Beckus.
evil soul.
So that comes up when you search Beckus, along with regular
Well,
Karibo.
yeah, because Beckus is on this list. Somewhere. Dog Sufferer. There it is.
Suffer.
Beckus.
Beckus with incoherent
It's
text.
It's unclear what
recording,
Beckus
or-
means.
Oh wait, we should probably do
Anyway,
that.
thank you for
Go check out
watching.
Progression.
Hit
Thanks for
the like,
watching.
comment, subscribe buttons. Check out stuff. We got a lot of stuff.
Got a lot of stuff.
We have another Yu-Gi-Oh series. If you like more Yu-Gi-Oh content, called Wheel of Decks.
True.
And
Please,
soon
in
to be
case,
Progression.
one of our followers isn't watching, we gotta shout out Wheel of Decks.
We stream sometimes.
Very
It's not-
rarely. I mean,
We just
if
started.
you want those, turn on notifications.
Yeah.
Don't say we just started. You're gonna date the video.
No.
Yeah, if you want to know when those happen, turn on notifications. You'll probably get it.
at some point, eventually, whenever that happens next.
Bye bye.
Bye. Peace.